Go to your browser right now and type in TomandDanWateringHoles.com, and you can read along with us on all of our awesome bar partners.
Yep, and when you go to a watering hole, take a picture in front of the Tom and Dan Watering Holes plaque that they all have hanging up, and we're going to choose random people, give them prizes. But we've got a ton of awesome breweries and restaurants and bars.
Beer partners, venues.
Let's start with Toll Road Brewing Company right there in Ocoee. When you swing by any of these watering holes, let the bartender, let the server say, hey, I'm with Tom and Dan. Ask for a gift.
Yep.
We've got all our watering holes have specific gifts, Tom and Dan stuff to give out to you for free, and it lets them know that you went there because of us, which is the most important thing. Like, one person makes a difference. A lot of people think that it doesn't, but if you be like, hey, I'm here because of Tom and Dan, they tell me, they're like, hey, well, someone came in because of you. I'm like, oh, that's great.
It's also somewhere along the line, people forgot that it is all about communication. Like, if they don't know you're there and we don't know you went there, then what are we even doing?
Yeah, they're like, no one showed up. I'm like, oh God, I think I saw a picture of them there. We've got Hourglass Brewing.
We love Hourglass.
Our Dad Jokes beer with them. That release is the day before Father's Day in June. So more information to come with that. But Danger Brain just finished all the branding and it looks phenomenal.
It's going to be great. Bug Nutty Brewing Company. These guys have been with us from almost like year number 2 of this particular show.
And they're in Cocoa over on the coast. So if you're in that area, stop by Bug Nutty. And we've got some Tom and Dan pint glass koozies and some other like rare giveaways there. If you ask for them, like it's free, and it'll again let them know that you came because of us.
A lot of breweries, but a lot of venues. Cafe Da Vinci is one of the sneakiest and coolest venues for live music you will ever see. I mean, they have a full backline, full stage, multiple stages, and they do it right. So check out Cafe Da Vinci in my hometown of DeLand, Florida. West End Trading Company, another awesome venue. Johnny's Other Side, another awesome venue.
They're celebrating their anniversary.
37 years.
Next week, and they told us BDMs, you guys, if you let them know you're BDM, 50% off.
Yeah, 50% off.
It's crazy.
Let's see what else. Celery City Craft, we got Brew Tap House, Tuffy's, another awesome venue.
Yeah.
If you're looking for beer and live music, we definitely got you. You just got to go to TomandDanWateringHoles.com, and if you want to be a watering hole, maybe you want to take advantage of the fact that we got nothing but awesome eyes on this page, and people don't want to get out there, get acclimated. We're open, baby. We'll get out there and party a little bit.
Yeah, just email me, Tom@TomandDan.com, if you want to be a part of it. Again, it's TomandDanWateringHoles.com. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. So the Nhl Playoffs are this week, or they're going on now.
Yeah, well, last year, or maybe even, it was last year, the Nhl Playoffs were single-handedly responsible for getting me into watching all of this season's hockey. Like, I've been watching a lot of Lightning games this season, and they're super-duper exciting and super fun, but playoff hockey might be the single most exciting sport I have ever seen. It's nuts.
So our buddy Justin, the bigwig at Cigar City, used to be Whopper.
I finally have reached a point where I feel guilty even saying that he was an intern that
Don't mention it.
Crazy
Don't
stuff.
bring him down.
I say it first to bring him down so he is at least closer to my level.
See, I have the opposite response. I don't want to do it anymore because I feel like he'll retaliate. I feel like he'll retaliate.
No,
what has he done to us?
Nothing. No, he's just so successful.
Besides not link us up so we can do business with Cigar City.
Well, he's above us.
Well,
he's a bigger deal.
He's trying to make deals with Joe Rogan now.
Yeah, exactly.
Not us. Anyway, no, I'm joking because he's the nicest guy that I've ever met.
He is.
But
his family is lovely.
I saw that in his text message. He did say that he was the nicest guy that he's ever met.
Yeah. So anyway, he's been going. He flew out to Montreal to the game. Is he going to all games in the series?
I don't know. I know did he go to more than one? Because I only saw him at one.
Was it the Montreal game? I assumed that he lives in Tampa.
Well, they're in Tampa now. So the last one they did 2, and then they did 2, and now we're even at 2 and 2.
But did he go to all the games in the series?
I don't think so. I think he did 1.
So, but he went to the Tampa ones, right? Or no? That'd be weird. Like, he lives in Tampa. Like, I thought when you told me he was going to Montreal, I was like, oh, maybe he's going to every game in the series. Then that's cool. Like, you go to the Tampa ones, then you fly to Montreal. You go to that's baller status.
I don't know if he did that. We should reach out to him and see. But I know that he did one, and I looked up tickets last night.
Well, that's even more bizarre to me because he lives in Tampa and he's a huge Tampa Bay Lightning fan.
So he didn't make the one last night, but he is going to be at the next one
in Tampa.
Yes.
But he didn't make the last one.
Correct.
But he
said he was not going to be able to make it, but he will be there for Game 4.
We should call him and see what it was like. Like, even getting there? That sounds like a nightmare. Flying to Canada, getting to the game, and then getting back to the States. Aren't they mask crazy?
Not anymore.
He got 18-wheelers, they're protesting, they're doing this, they're doing that.
That's 3 weeks ago.
You got the city wrong, it's Toronto.
Yeah, what were you saying, Montreal? You know, once you get past,
I don't know.
I feel like once you cross the border, all the little provinces and all that, it's all about the same.
It's the Toronto Maple Leafs, right?
Yes. Toronto Maple Leafs. They're very good.
The Maple Leaf threw me off because Montreal Maple, anyway.
Maple Leaf had aggressive mascot,
the alliteration?
right?
Yeah.
The Montreal Maple, that has a nice ring to it.
I was talking.
I think it's the Montreal Canucks, right?
Sure.
Isn't that the name of the Montreal team? Am I wrong on that?
I don't know. We should talk to a hockey
Vancouver
person
Canucks
because
I don't know
screwing this all up.
Montreal Canadiens.
Canadians. Here's why I don't know any of the Canadian teams. They're not good.
Wow.
Take that.
So I was talking to a hockeyman at my son's birthday party.
Wait a minute. He got a private tour of the Hall of Fame by Phil Pritchard. How does he have all those connections?
He's a millionaire businessman that used to be my intern.
All right, we need to talk to him.
I mean, he is rubbing shoulders with bigwigs.
Oh, yeah. Without the biggest of the biggest.
Yeah. He's flying around in the Cigar City private jet or whatever.
You got that beer money.
Yeah. So I was talking to a hockeyman over the weekend, and we were talking about Florida hockey because the Florida Panthers are also in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then so with obviously the success of Tampa Bay Lightning, I was like, man, it definitely makes sense that like if you grew up playing hockey, that maybe you are attracted to nicer weather in Florida, right?
Sure.
Like it can't be a coincidence that we have two Florida hockey teams that do so well. And then you add that there's no state tax in Florida. And then he started mentioning, like, because he knows way more about hockey.
How much play did they have in picking where they go, right?
Well, some of the free agents, like, once you get to a certain point, it's kind of like the NFL. Like, you can have your choice. Like, you know, rookies.
But not everybody.
No. And they, obviously, like, they still want a competitive league, so it's not like all the best players are coming to Florida. And like you said, like rookies and people like in deals, they can't pick where they get traded.
Josh actually called in about this. It's exactly what you were talking about yesterday, I believe. Here, check this out.
Hello, Tom, Dan, and Sam. Pardon the wind and me being out of breath. I'm just out for a walk with my dogs. Anyway, I was listening to the episode of A Corporate Time when you were talking to Chris Gwaltney from the Humidor and talking about hockey players playing in Florida as opposed to Canada. And yes, Canadian hockey players love going to cities like Florida and Tampa. One of the big reasons is the media here in Canadian cities like Toronto, Montreal, really, really bad. The media is just up their ass 24/7. And then they come down to Sunrise or Sunshine, Florida or Tampa, and it's like nobody even knows much about hockey for the most part, unless they're diehard fans. Low taxes, good weather, they're out of the spotlight. They can just make their millions in peace without the Canadian media barking down their...
Same thing I've heard from Brazilian and Portuguese soccer players. You know, I've heard that they love being here because the weather is very much like their home country, and they don't get mobbed by a psycho South American paparazzi. You know, like they're not getting hammered.
That's exactly what this hockey dad was saying, too. I forgot. He was like, you don't understand. He's like, they have to deal with, like, you know, TMZ-style media hounding them when they're out in public because everybody's so wrapped up in hockey. And here in Florida, they can just go to Publix. No one even knows who they are.
Yeah.
And, like, and you make...
Get yourself a chicken tender sub on sale this week.
Is there a Tampa Bay Lightning sub?
Yes.
What's on that?
Lightning. It's hard to get, though. It's electric boogie.
I know there's a Buccaneers sub.
He also brought the point of there was some trade that some player went from Florida to Canada and Canada to Florida, and it was like a $4 million difference in their salary swing just based on taxes alone.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, that's
nuts.
Yeah. Because you think about it, like in Canada, you're not only you're paying probably the most taxes, right? Like they got a high tax rate up there, and then Florida, like so, and they don't, I guess, compensate for that when it comes to like trades or like. It's not like you get penalized for playing in Florida. It's like only benefit,
right?
Especially with the taxes and the money.
Yes.
So it seems kind of unfair. Like good for Florida, but if I was a Canadian team, I'd be like, well, this is unfair. Like, of course, everybody's going to be gravitated towards Florida with all the incentives beyond weather, like money, right? Like no one.
I would agree with that, unless you want to. Now, see, I was trying to put myself in the position of being like a Steven Stamkos or somebody that like is playing on one of these teams, and whether or not it would carry more weight if I were in a traditional, follow me with this, a traditional, stereotypical, amazing hockey franchise like the Chicago, the Blackhawks, or like the Rangers. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain teams that when you hear them, you think like quintessential North American or let's say American hockey team.
I don't think the players care. Like, the players just care about themselves and the money they make, right?
I think you're probably right.
I don't know, they're pretty loyal.
Maybe what I'm exercising is dumb old man loyalty. Dumb old man loyalty is an old thing. Like, look at Freddie Freeman from the Braves. I have my hat on today because it was last week was what's his name? Oh God, black guy. Home run leader.
I have no
Dan
idea.
St. Pierre knows. I've got his hat on.
Yelling at me, I have no idea
Played
about
for the
baseball.
Braves.
Yeah.
Hank Aaron, thank you. It's Hank Aaron week last week. My brain, see, this is why we got to do a warm-up. But my point is, I think staying with the same team because you have team loyalty, a la Freddie Freeman with the Braves, he just went to L.A. for big money. And not as much money as he probably could have gotten if he'd actually communicated with the teams and worked the deal to stay in the spot. But he didn't. He went out. And I think going out is the trend now. Staying with your team and being loyal to it, that's an old man thing. But that was years ago.
The team and all teams have proven that they don't have any loyalty towards the players.
No.
Like, So
why does the player have loyalty to the company store and all that? Why?
They will cut you as soon as you start playing bad or, like, you're too much money for them or, anything financial.
But I will say that growing up, when I watched sports as a young man, it was sort of, my dad didn't talk to me about it. I just assumed.
No, yeah. It used to be different.
It used to be different. I assumed that, like, Arsenal, teams that I like, the Braves, let's say, Lightning, Magic, anybody. One of the biggest life lessons I learned as a young man was watching Shaquille O'Neal go from the Magic to the Lakers. It blew my mind that he didn't stay, because I'm like, you would want to stay with that team and win with that team because you're loyal to that team and the team's loyal to you. I had no idea that behind the scenes it was just a business. I had no idea about it either. I was naive and stupid.
Well, they tried to mask that for the longest time because
it makes it less fun. When you see all the dirty stuff behind the scenes and the backside, it just ruins it. So when you're a kid,
they try to hide it.
Yeah, when you're a kid and you really enjoy that, like you can't, like, I'm virtually certain that my wife was going to cry when Freddie Freeman left the Braves last year. She was just like, it's like one of those things. I'm like, how could you do this?
I think social media changed that a lot because it used to be, you didn't really hear from the players themselves that much. That only in press conferences and stuff that very few people watch. So, like, there was a couple sports media channels and they reported the sports news. And now, with everything being wide open and you hear directly from the actual athlete.
I get my news from EJ. I don't know what you're talking about.
Then it's like
every Tuesday on Twitch.
People see, like, oh, yeah, this is just a person that wants to do best for himself and his family and make as much money as possible. This is a business. They get drafted out of college or whatever, and they start playing for this team for the money, and they're not loyal to this particular team, especially because the team's not loyal to them, and they'll cut them in 1 second, and it's all about the money.
And that's all business.
That's
you could look at that. I mean, I've had things
corporations.
I've had dealings in my life where I looked at a corporation and I'm like, hey, get my back here, and they're like, and I'm like, oh wow, I was always getting your back. I was always sticking up for you. Why did I do that? because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, and not all business operates that way, but the bigger it is and the more money involved, the more it operates that way because it has to. But, there's still smaller businesses that actually are loyal to their employees and stuff and will hold on to an employee or catch their back.
Yep, like the auto manufacturer Saturn. That's a good company. The last good company was Saturn, when they'd have their hometown barbecue. Anybody invited. You owned a Saturn, you drive up there to their plant, you park in the parking lot, and the Hebrew Nationals are on me.
I want to give a prize to any listener
that went to the Saturn barbecue.
No, that is driving a Saturn right now.
Oh, we got a lot. Oh, we're the #1 Saturn show. We are.
I don't even.
Can we get a Saturn? And is there?
Would you recognize?
Let's do Tom and Dan's Saturn barbecue. Let's bring back the Saturn barbecue.
But you can only come if you have a Saturn.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's the only way we could afford it.
Right.
But you come to the bar and then you park
Those are my favorite commercials. They'd be every year because we're such a different car manufacturer. We have a barbecue where everybody that owns a Saturn can drive to the factory and sit in the parking lot and eat hot dogs.
When did they stop making Saturns?
2010.
2010. How long?
On Halloween, for some reason.
Oh, that's spooky.
Right?
Do this on your show. You heard about this one?
I should look into it.
Saturn Ghost.
So, do you think the last time you can only have the newest Saturn you could only have is 2010.
Yes.
What's the chances it's still running right now?
Oh, totally.
12 years from later?
Yeah.
Do you think those things are a hunk of garbage?
I bet it's still running. If the Tom and Dan truck is being driven daily by Falconer Jones,
yeah, but that's a Ford. My pop said
I'm pretty mad.
Only drove Ford.
I'm pretty mad at Ford right now because do you know what today is? Today is 5 days past 1 year when I ordered my Bronco.
Yeah, well, no one can get cars, though.
There was an article written on February of 2022 that asks if Saturn cars are reliable, and it says yes because they are still running. They said the fact that you can still see Saturns running around to this day means that they're pretty reliable.
I'm pro Saturn, man. We're bringing it back. Saturn barbecue. Tom and Dan's Saturn barbecue. I think it's been long enough where they won't sue us.
What kind of Saturn did they make? Was it?
We had the Saturn Sky Roadster. That one I know from Project Runway. It was one of the prizes. They'd be like, "Hi, you're going to win a Saturn Sky Roadster."
Hold on, Daniel, bring up the types because I only recognize the regular.
There's the compact sedan or the coupe, the station wagon. There's the Saturn L series, which is a mid-size sedan and station wagon.
Saturn L.
Saturn View, which is a compact crossover. The Saturn Ion, which is a compact sedan and quad coupe. Saturn Relay, which is a minivan. Saturn Sky, which is a roadster. The EV1, which is an electric Saturn.
Yeah, they were ahead of their time.
Ahead of their
time. Mr. Saturn was
Between
a smart,
1996 and 1999, they produced an electric Saturn. Never heard of it.
In 96?
Yes, I was 10 years old.
Dude, Saturn
Outlook,
hold on.
Saturn
Sam
Aura.
still had a mullet when they had the Saturn EV.
Yeah.
Saturn had an electric car in 1996?
Yeah.
Way ahead of
That's
its time.
insane.
And you could have gotten free hot dogs at the barbecue.
Gas was only 90 cents or less.
Don't talk about it.
Cents.
People get mad about it.
No, but I'm saying, that's crazy that
It was the first mass-produced and purpose-designed electric vehicle of the modern era from a major automaker.
Hold on, let's buy a 1996 electric Saturn.
Let's do it, dude.
Are you
Where do you charge that
What's the
thing?
range? 5 miles? Seriously. You're like, this takes 800 Ds. Like, what? How many?
Don't say it takes 800 Ds. Almost everything we have takes 800 Ds. Everything I love takes 800 Ds.
Oh, because they didn't sell, they ended up crushing most of them.
No, don't crush them, Saturn, you idiots.
They said they ended up crushing most of the cars regardless of protesting customers. People were protesting this.
Don't crush my car.
Oh, man, I got to look into this. This is crazy.
Hold on.
I've been a massive
People
fan.
are mad and they're like, electric, get them.
No, they were mad that they were crushing them because they were fans of it.
Yeah, like the cars were fine. And they got to get rid of them. We got to crush them. We got orders. We got to crush them. But don't crush
GM
them.
said it wasn't profitable, so they ended up crushing most of them. And people were protesting the crushing.
Are there
Don't crush the Saturns.
Look up Saturn electric vehicle for sale. Is there anyone for sale at all on the internet anywhere? Like on eBay somewhere?
I'm searching right now live with this.
There's got to be one.
Oh, there's one on Carvana. It's in the machine.
There's got to be one for sale worldwide, right?
Yeah, there is one on Carvana. 16.9.
16 grand? What is it?
Let's get it.
Oh no, we didn't find any exact matches. You suck, Carvana.
I got one that's just the shell that's for sale.
Because the guts probably doesn't work anymore, right?
I don't know.
The battery, think about the battery technology from 96. Like, what the hell what was it? Like, I want to know the details. Like, what was the range? It had to have been a hybrid, right?
What was the name of this model? The EV1?
EV1.
Okay, I got some bad news. There are only 40 EV1s still on the road. So for us to find one, we're going to have to get out our wallets.
But there's none for sale.
Well, they're highly collectible. Like with anything that people love.
Go to the Wikipedia. I want to see what the distance was and what the hell it even was. Like I didn't even know they even produced, or any big manufacturer even produced an electric vehicle in the 90s.
Okay, like
it's crazy to me.
The GM CEO at the time was Rick Wagoner, which is a great name for a car guy. The EV1, he said, he's quoted as saying, the EV1 is more than a car. It's a path to national salvation. So they started pumping these out. The range was 100 miles.
Not bad for the 90s, right?
I got to agree with you.
Like, hold on. Like,
only 40 have been preserved.
Now I'm mad that the maximum range is only like 3 times that now.
Yeah,
like 25
not
years
even.
later.
Most of mine
almost 30 years.
Bring back the Saturn.
260 miles, 270 miles.
Like,
I mean, like
in 25 years, like we all have iPhones that can do anything, and the range only tripled from the 90s Saturn. That's crazy.
Okay, so many factors contributed to the failure of the car. But they don't consider it technically a failure. The original version's range was 100 miles. A lot of people failed to understand that the EV1 was a commuter car, not supposedly like an...
Gotcha.
Yeah, but, people in North America, our cities are not, for the most part, close together like Europe, right? So we never think of that. We always want big cars that we can go long distances in.
Well, and of course, you couldn't charge this thing anywhere. There's still payphones in 96. You know what I'm saying? So you had to you could never get away from your house, or you had to bring your adapter with you or something, right?
The car was super fast. A photographer who shot many of the EV1's advertising pictures, but they did make the batteries extremely heavy, and the rear axle was narrower in the front, so the handling felt really weird.
Yeah, because the battery technology, I'm sure, like the heavy ass 90s batteries in there.
So it was a battery paddle that you would slide in between the headlights. And the GM provided a home charger, which was required for fast charging of the car. This is crazy.
Okay,
I'm bring it back.
I'm going to say something to you and Tom that you would definitely. That you
there's already a million electric cars.
I want this one.
I'll say something to you guys that I bet both of you believe. If I'd have known that this existed at that time, I probably would have put my name on the list for that as an early adopter. I mean, you guys know me. I like this kind of stuff. I would have liked to have had an EV back in the day. I think that would be rad.
But there's no use for it. Like I said, gas was 85 cents. So everybody's like, what the hell do I need that?
Right.
$10 to fill in my tank.
And Sam's exactly correct that on July 24th of 2003, General Motors, to the chagrin of everybody standing around protesting, started crushing all of the ones they had.
Why would they do that?
It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Why not just sell them off?
Yeah.
Somebody would buy them.
And apparently people were there like, stop. They're like, crush them all in front of the people.
Weird.
It is weird.
I wonder if somehow,
and it's a huge collector's item. So look, if you got one of these, we'll take it.
Yeah,
but you could probably sell it and make some money.
Well, because you got to think about the politics back in the 90s. Like, I'm sure when they started coming out with electric vehicles, like they got a huge amount of pressure put on them, not only by their own parent company, but other companies. Like, hey, what the hell are you doing? Like, we are all in on gas vehicles. You can't be messing around with an electric car. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It's a business back then. It's like gas prices are low, so there would be no reason. Like,
as of 2019, there was one that was abandoned in an Atlanta parking garage. It's just sitting there, flat tires, dusty.
That's
the best. It's still there?
That's the one you want. That's a good man.
Okay, so as far as so I'm sure as we progress, right? Like in 20 years, I imagine the majority of cars are going to be electric, right? Like just through obvious evolution.
It's looking that way. I mean, I don't think
GM donated a handful to museums and schools. We got to find these things.
Yeah, well, I would love to just drive one just to see what it's like.
So there are going to be people that start collecting electric cars and old electric cars, right?
Just like Cadillac Pat, certified crazy person, collects old cell phones that don't work.
Well, it's like, someone's going to want the first generation Tesla and like stuff like that. And I bet you there are people out there that are trying to get their hands on
My wife still has a first generation iPod.
Who was this couldn't have been the first big manufacturer to produce an electric car, right?
They'd been doing it for years and years.
So did they do electric cars in the 80s?
I think so.
But big, I
want to say one of the first electric cars was even brought up in the
First
50s.
electric car in the United States was developed in 1890.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm talking about like a big auto manufacturer,
right.
Like actually manufacturing for mass
We'll have
distribution.
to look into the history of the electric car.
Well, I mean, there definitely was one back when everybody was obsessed with the House of the Future. Like when the music was all ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding.
Because the electric motor and the battery system, I mean, you could definitely do it. It's just I was wondering about like big manufacturers. Like, this is the first I've ever heard of Saturn or any like big brand.
It fits
producing.
the brand too, because with their whole like space vibe, it's kind of like Saturn. Oh, it's an EV. I'd be like, okay, makes sense. I would have had one, dude.
All right, bye.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. What do you want to do now, buddy?
Let's do some voicemail email.
All right. Voicemails and emails can be left multiple ways. Easiest way for email, show@tomanddan.com. That goes straight to me and Samantha. And if you want to leave us a voicemail message, multiple ways to do that too. You can call 1-844-TOMNDAN. That's our landline. You can just call that and leave a message. And then you can get a free app. All of our shows are on there. If you're a BDM member, you get extra shows. ACT's on there, so you can listen to all of those. And there's a little button that says mediocre messages. If you hold that down and talk into your phone, you will leave us a voicemail message. Let's start with emails.
Okay. Discord poop story.
Yes, this is from yesterday. I never talk about our Discord. We actually have a
I think
Discord.
there's a couple of them, right?
Yeah, I think there's one main one that I'm in,
Okay.
but
Haven't checked in lately.
it's good. Yeah, I left it open and I'm in there, and then some guys are talking about different beers and stuff like that. And then one guy relayed a story that reminded me of like a great Clear Channel poop story that Tom and I have. So I'll let Sam read the email.
Real quick, just because I don't understand Discord, is it basically a big
Message board.
open message board?
Yep. Just think message board.
Okay.
Yeah, link to our program that is related to Twitch.
Kind of like Reddit.
Similar. Yeah.
You search a category and you can go into the Tom and Dan Discord.
More like a news group. Yeah, easier to
Okay.
navigate. I think there's less negativity there. I like the Discord. But
You
yeah.
can do audio in there, too.
Yeah, you can do audio in there.
So it says, so at work, there's someone who keeps crapping up the men's bathroom stall and clogging it with toilet paper. Like, they've done this multiple times over the last few weeks. For reference, the bathroom setup is a handicap stall, regular stall, urinal, and he is destroying the obviously preferred stall of choice. Here I am this morning doing my business when I hear whoever is next to me in the handicap stall using a mountain of toilet paper and flushing repeatedly. I'm like, oh, F, it's that guy. And desperately tried to get out and get a look at him, but only saw his shoes as he left his crime scene. Have a good night.
So
This reminded me of the time I was pooping next to Campmeyer. I could see his sandals under the thing. And it's like, you can't tell who's pooping next to you. And I do judge you based on what I hear behind the Formica.
do some people not understand the etiquette of
I don't think
how
some
much
people care.
toilet paper to use and like
Some people don't know how to clean their bodies. Like some people, their parents never taught them how to properly go 1 and 2. And they didn't talk to them about how to do a 3 or how to do a 4.
Can you use enough toilet paper to actually clog the toilet?
I can, yeah.
I mean, that would have to be an insane amount, right?
I clog the toilet about every 9th do. I clog it.
Well,
I feel like that happens a lot.
I'm like a public restroom, though. I feel like those toilets are
can't clog 'em.
stronger.
Those are the 18.
Plus, they use paper, like super thin toilet paper.
And they use those,
How much toilet paper is this guy
the
using?
whole roll.
they use those 18 billiard ball flush per flush toilets.
Yeah. So, like, he must be using such an insane amount.
Well, you're also
Right?
discounting this.
Have you ever clogged a public toilet or maybe a toilet at someone's house
I've
or
clogged the
business?
one at Clear Channel.
yeah.
And then you ran?
No, that was a different time. That was when somebody else clogged it, and they're all linked up because they were like, give them one pipe. We can skimp on the toilets because they're DJs and they're a-holes. So they got like one pipe, and then Tom was in there peeing, and I'm in there taking a 2, and Tom flushes the toilet, and then my toilet started pushing my number 2 towards me. It was like pushing my own waist towards me, and I'm like, and I ran out naked. He saw me naked.
So what are you supposed to do if someone in the business, do you put an all-out email to everybody?
Well, Mike Spry...
Do you confront the person and be like, hey, you don't know how to use the bathroom? Like
head of engineering,
awkward.
Mike Spry at Clear Channel, back in the day when I was still there was a guy that was going in there and flushing down handfuls of bolts.
Yeah, but that was an attack. That wasn't someone that didn't know how to use the bathroom properly.
That's guerrilla warfare.
You're not let me finish. See, no. I think you do the same thing. I think you put up the sign that says, because he put up a sign that said somebody has been flushing handfuls of bolts, and I'm going to pull the security tape and find out who it is, and you're fired. So you put the same sign on the door, and you say, hey, I know some chungus has been going in here and using copious amounts of toilet paper. Mind your paper usage. I'm going to check the tapes, and if I find out that you're coming and going when it gets clogged, you're fired. And that'll stop it.
Well, you can't fire someone for using too much toilet paper.
And clogging the toilet repeatedly?
Damaging, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a right to work. You can fire anybody.
Yeah, it's a right to work state. I will literally go to your desk and be like, I know you're the one with a big fat ass. You're fired.
Well, you can't fire someone for being fat.
No. I'm just. That was just what I yelled at them. I'm firing them because they used too much toilet paper and they clogged up. That'll be in the documents. What I put in the documents is going to be different from what I yell to your face. So that's what I'm saying.
Even if this guy did see.
He saw the shoes.
I saw the person.
I saw.
What is he going to do? Just narc on him and tell his bosses, like, this guy's been doing it?
That's what it sounded like he wanted to do because he was excited to try and get a peek.
Or do you confront him?
Or maybe you're just curious on who it is.
Let's not discount the fact that I remember what it's like to go to the 4th floor restroom at Clear Channel and be like, this is horrible, this is disgusting. If I find out who clogged every single toilet or who deuced in them and didn't flush, I'd like for them to be fired. Right?
Yeah.
There's a part of me that I get angry because I'm like, we're supposed to go in here and
we all have to use this bathroom.
This is like, I don't enjoy using this restroom. It's a necessity bathroom, and you're going in there, you're splattered zone, and you're not even flushing. Mm-hmm. Get fired. Right?
It is weird how people can act like that and then think
animals.
But if there was a sign on the door, if there was a sign on the door that said, "Hey, we look who's coming and going. If you go in there and if I'm the boss, if I walk in there and I see you went in there and you came out and I see the toilet got a deuce in there not flush, you're getting written up."
Oh,
that's a write-up.
It would stop it, I think. It would stop it.
I remember, so we should call Crystal about this story because I remember she used to work at a moving company, right? And it was over off OBT.
Near the mall.
It was near the mall.
Florida Mall.
But it was in a building.
Industrial complex
that...
18-wheelers everywhere.
18-wheelers everywhere. And the 18-wheelers would back up, they have the big doors that they back up to and stuff.
The docking bay.
But, so the building looked like that, but they had offices there, right? So,
There's another funny story about this. Because didn't she have a secret admirer?
There was.
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that.
There was one. Yeah, that was at the first place.
Oh man, so many good stories in that place.
Then the bird one.
The bird. Then the lady that had the horse.
Yeah. But so in this particular case, there was the truckers that were using the bathroom at the actual facility.
9 a.m. taquito drop off.
And they had a men's and women's bathroom, but it was kind of out. They were in the actual warehouse area where. If you worked in the office, kind of like the office, right? Where you had to walk into the warehouse. You go
downstairs and see Daryl before you take a number 2.
And so she would go into the bathroom sometimes, and the truckers, I think they would use the women's bathroom when the men's bathroom was locked.
Yeah, of course.
Because
there's not a lot of women there.
Yeah. Because the only women that used the bathroom were 3 or 4 in the main office.
Guess what, ladies? It works both ways. If you're at a concert, going to use the men's room and then look at me and be like, I'm sorry, I'm too many of it. Well, then I'm going to go S it up in your bathroom. Works both ways.
But they destroyed play it, and then she'd have to go in there, and then she'd write multiple emails, like no one would care. Like,
No.
it would be like the manager would Michael Scott it, and then like write it back like an all email like. Crystal's complaining about everybody
passive aggressive.
Yeah. So we ask all the disgusting truckers.
Yeah.
Like she's her words, not mine.
Yeah.
Like, to stop using
You big fat truckers to stop crapping up her precious vegetarian bathroom. Wait, hold on a second. Why'd you say it that way?
I'd laugh and laugh. All right. Next email.
Okay. How many pub subs get stolen in a given day?
I've always wanted... Okay, is this going to change how you guys think about me? Sometimes when I walk in there, I'm like, you're so weak. You're not a real man. Walk up there, and even though you didn't order a sub today, just grab one. Who cares? Be a man. Sometimes I think that way when I walk through Publix. It's like an internal dialogue.
Crazy. It says, I sometimes wonder how many pub subs are taken each day without being paid for and or paid for online and then taken from in-store by someone else. I've stopped paying ahead as a few go missing or unmade a month, but I still order ahead even with the sub ban it's about. Have a great day. P.S. Crazy launch on Friday morning. View from my house. And he sent a picture, everybody was taking pictures of that last launch that happened.
I like how he's like, hey, I don't know if you guys see this. Like,
There's
everybody's got a camera, and everybody took a picture of it and put it on social media.
Yeah.
Everybody saw it.
Yeah, they did. By the way,
I've had pub subs stolen from this Publix, but I never pay ahead.
You know,
I always pay in store.
I paid ahead one time, like last week, and there's supposed to be, like Norm is right, there's supposed to be a certain badge they put on the ones that are already paid. But I think they've been using the same one because he said that when you pay for it, it should be green. But the last couple times I've paid online, it's black. And it looks exactly the same. Like, I don't think there's any difference.
Probably ran out of stickers.
It just says paid. Like, if you flip the receipt, it will say, like, paid.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's all Publix's, but my Publix, they changed the pickup area to next to customer service. So you pick your sub up or your cake or whatever the hell you get in the customer service area, not the sub.
That's how Castleberry, it's like they got a
so they must have had a lot of people stealing them.
Castleberry, they put
Do they have a refrigerator or a heater over there?
No,
they do.
It's the same setup. It's just now it's
they have to move it.
It's in front of the customer service area, not next to the. Because I went there to pick up my sub, and I was like, "Where is?" Because
too many stolen subs.
Castleberry's a hellhole. They got to put it in customer service so the thugsters don't go in there and steal your Orlando City black bean special.
It's a direct correlation to where you live. If you're Publix, put the sub pickup next to the customer service. Bad neighborhood.
Yeah. That's true.
Because it's not like that in Baldwin.
No.
Yeah. I
don't want it over near customer service. That's where the lottery tickets are. You know who buys those? Everybody.
Shout out to Hannah.
So I think that probably is a direct result of people's subs getting stolen.
Man, I am. I have one to eat today, but I think I'm pub subbed out finally.
You go through cycles.
I think I'm done with...
You'll eat a bunch of turkey and cheese subs, and then you cycle out.
This is a turkey and ham. I went for the turkey.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, I had
getting adventurous.
Put a little ham on there. Make it crazy.
The best thing that's ever happened to me with grocery stores or any stores is self-checkout.
Love it.
But you know how to run it.
Now I've actually learned because I like it better than any other. Like, I don't want to deal with anybody. I just self-check out and then get the hell out of here.
What if you're buying alcohol, though? You got to get a teen to come over.
Yeah, but they're always standing right there. Like, especially in Publix. Like, in Walmart, not so much. They're like, let's put quadruple the amount of and put one person who obviously doesn't care in charge of it that's never standing around.
I think they need a better way to do that so it doesn't have to be an actual human. Like, there's got to be something that you can do where
I can scan my own ID.
Well,
right?
They would think that you would carry a person of age's ID scan and still get the beer. But my point is that we're creative. I think if we gave I'm not thinking of something right now, but I think if you gave me like a solid hour of talking it out with you guys, we could figure out a way to speed that process up where the lady doesn't have to stand there.
Can't there be a camera that checks my face and my ID? so that it
Sure.
matches?
Yeah, there could be that.
Or
I'd be down for that's a great idea.
what if you pre-register?
That's what I'm thinking. Like pre-check at the
like
airport.
Clear.
Yes.
So you pre-register. Every
I'm an alcoholic. I pre-registered my ID.
But they need facial recognition.
Right, exactly. Because they have to make sure it's you.
Yeah, because there are the state law. You have to be governed by that, and probably state law that a human has to check
But
your ID.
people hate facial ID. Because they think it's stealing their soul or too much, you're getting too much into my business.
Listen, I'm sure Publix and every other company would want to make it more efficient so they didn't have to pay a human to do it.
Right.
But they probably are handcuffed by state law because, like you said, they can't do facial recognition. And then to change the state law would take 1,000,000 years. They just give up. Put some minimum wage employee there and then put in their code when you're buying alcohol or spray paint.
Let's try this voicemail right here. One of the hottest topics that we have brought up in recent years, not divining rods, but actually the Saturn automobile. The Saturn line of automobiles.
Oh, yeah.
We've been talking about this. I've always made jokes about the Saturn barbecue because I would see the commercials and I always thought it was cool that if you had a Saturn, you could drive your Saturn Ion or whatever it is up to whatever the plant was, park there, get a hot dog, and see other Saturn owners. Here is a gentleman that has one on the road.
Tom, Dan, Sam. Hey, Saturns are pretty cool. Not all of them are great, but there's still a bunch of them on the road. My daughter is driving an 06 Saturn Ion, which is basically a cheaper version of a Cobalt.
Yep.
The Saturn Aura, which was a pretty sweet car, I wanted one, but they are basically a cheaper version of the Malibu.
Yep.
Saturn Relay was an Uplander, so on and so forth. Basically, just Saturns are cheaper versions of Chevys, which are more expensive versions of Buicks. So that's just how GM does stuff. Later.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. In fact, the Saturn Sky Roadster had another counterpart in a different, whatever it was. It was like a fancier Roadster, but I always wanted the Saturn Sky Roadster because I saw it on Project Runway so much.
So you said there's a documentary about the Saturn electric car that's out on Netflix, right?
Yes.
It's on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix. It might be.
I think it's on YouTube.
But somebody posted it in the BDM group, and it's, what was it called? The Who Killed the Electric Car?
Yep, Who Killed the Electric Car?
And this was about the Saturn electric car.
Yeah,
Yes,
so,
the
and I
EV1.
think other iterations of electric cars, but namely about the EV1.
And it was the politics, obviously, like oil companies, other car manufacturers, I'm sure were mad because their whole business, like we were talking about,
Built on petroleum products.
Yeah. So when they did this, it bucked the system and everybody rebelled against it. And that's why they crushed them all.
I don't know. I mean, I want to watch it and find out.
Well, people in the chat room are saying it's pretty damn good, so I might watch it tonight.
It's crazy that you look back and you're like, wow, like, that is how everything works. Like, everything's based on money. So anytime you introduce something into the market that is competitive to that market, they're going to rebel against it and try to shut you down. It's like basic capitalism. But it's crazy. You can look back and you're like, oh, wow, they stopped progression. We could have had electric cars way sooner back then, if they didn't, stop it.
And it didn't seem like from
they
everything,
were right.
From everything that I've read, it doesn't seem like the car wasn't popular. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's not like what I'm reading. I don't see people going like, oh, we're turned off by that. We have no interest in that. It seems like as a commuter car, because it had the, 100-mile or 100-mile plus range, it really just, it was for people that lived in the city and still needed an automobile.
This stuff has happened where it seems like a crazy conspiracy theory, but you're like, no, this is history where like car manufacturers were like, I remember.
Well, QR codes are like the electric cars of, because like QR codes when they first came out in like 2010, nobody cared. And we did it for a little bit, and we're like, this is a novelty. But then suddenly, when we have a pandemic, we can't touch everything. Like, QR codes are now, like, everywhere you go, it's like QR code crazy. On TV, like baseball, they'll run, like, scan the QR code. And it's like...
But there's evidence, and I guess they were open about it, where like car manufacturers, I forgot which one, were like buying up the patents for like public transit, you know what I'm saying? Like they're buying up like public transit or slowing down public transit by buying certain patents and like stopping it, or buying companies and just stopping them, holding them, so that because they wanted more and more people to buy cars. So like a lot of cities and like the United States would be more efficient when it comes to public transit if it wasn't for automobile manufacturers like slowing that progress down because it was better for their business.
Right.
But that's what was, I mean, they were smart to do that for business-wise, but they technically slowed and like hindered progression of our society, right? So it's like, yeah, I understand why you did it, but you technically hurt society by doing that. But that stuff happens all the time, and it's still happening.
It ain't gonna stop. Capitalism.
Next email.
I like
All
capitalism.
right. This is from our friend Christine, and it says Tom's hatred of fun theory. So we got another conspiracy theory here.
I don't really think he hates fun. I just haven't figured out what he thinks of fun fully. Maybe he's just too realistic about fun.
No. Hey, broadcasters. So we all hear often how Tom hates fun.
Oh, Tom hates being called broadcaster. Why'd you start with that?
That's why she did it. We also have recently heard more and more examples of Tom caring about what people think. My theory is that Tom doesn't actually hate fun. He hates the outward expression of anything another person could judge. Think about it. Tom will sing We Are Young within the private confines of his own car, but will be embarrassed dancing in front of people at a wedding. He so fears the eyes of the public that he simply refuses to do anything that results in him standing out in a crowd. I know Tom will say he doesn't care what people think. He'll try to defend himself by saying things aren't inherently not fun, but Tom is the bad one and a liar. What Tom hates are the outputs of fun, the exuberance, the vulnerability, and the target on one's back by emoting in public. Tom, it's okay. Nobody's watching you. Nobody actually cares. Stop trying so hard to blend in when you already do. Lover of fun. Pig tease Christine.
Oh, thank you, Christine.
They all are watching me right now, and they're making fun of me.
But not naturally. They don't like. They are now because you're calling attention to it. But just like
they do it all the time. The listeners may make fun of me. I see what they do, and then her example is though they won't care. No one cares. They care. They're doing it to me now. So. I'm not doing it to, outside of this because I know what will happen because they proved it to me.
But you do seem to care a lot about what people think.
I don't. Okay.
He doesn't want anyone to look at him. He doesn't want anyone to judge
because,
him.
like, even you wanting people to not be sad, like, let's say you're talking to some guy and he's giving you a pitch for some knives. He wants you to buy a set of knives. The fact that you will sit there for a very long time means that you actually care what this person thinks about you. You don't want this person to think that you're an a-hole.
Listen,
right?
Every grown man I ever grew up with, I've never seen have fun. My Uncle Carl, my Uncle Paul, my Pop-Pop, my stepdad Steve.
But your dad had fun.
No, I don't remember ever.
Steve had a bird.
Yeah, but
you wanted to kill it. No, it didn't fly away.
Well, Timmy let it out.
It was released by you and
terrible.
Timmy and your sister in a complex plan to destroy something that he loved.
So I don't know what even having fun is supposed to mean. Like all these men that I grew up with, like they went to work, they went home, they watched football,
they never smiled.
They had some beers. They make some jokes, some off-color jokes,
a couple of racist jokes, and call it a day.
Yeah, but they just work hard, get home. They're tired as hell. They like to get drunk. That was their fun, but they didn't.
So do you think you have to live your life like that just because they did?
I don't know. Well, it's just I don't know. That's all I see. Like I see all my friends.
And they all died young.
They don't have. My friends don't have any fun. They all like me.
Yeah, they don't have any fun.
They just go there.
I saw the Wizard. The Wizard this weekend was miserable.
Is that because he got too many kids?
He had a baby.
Wizard, I don't see anybody having fun.
My daughter's self-sufficient now, so the best thing that could have happened to me, because there were moments when I'd have to wrangle Maisie and it was tough, but now Maisie's so independent that she just does everything. And I sat back and I watched the Wizard, the poor Wizard chasing a toddler, not even a toddler, a baby around, and the baby was just twisting him up, the crying, and then throwing cantaloupe and throwing pizza.
He wants to sit down and drink.
Yeah.
That's what you're like that.
He had one beer. He had one or half a beer.
You're not dancing like Carlton at the stoplights. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you want me to do? That's play some bets on a game. I watch some adult videos. I don't know what do you mean?
Okay.
All right, well, that's good fun.
Yeah,
Fun time for daddy.
Slow down there, Ray Liotta.
Going,
God, he's got real
tend
hard.
to my plants. I'll play with my sons.
Well, that's fun, right?
I always
Yeah, yeah.
wanted to watch some adult films.
Like, I'd get in the pool with the kids, and then I'm wrestling around with them at the
And he's real serious
Mother's
about it,
Day.
too. He wrestled around, and he was
So it's
wrestling
like a
around.
whole job to be monster.
No, but then he stops, and he's like, all right.
Oh, no.
10 minutes. And then they're like, we still want to play. And he's like, I said 10 minutes. And I'm like, whoa.
Really?
Whoa. Yeah, he's real serious about the kid play. Real serious about it.
Like, it winded me, so I can't do it
Well,
anymore.
give the monster a break.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Our friend Carmen Morales is here. How you doing, Carmen?
Hi. It's so good to see you guys.
So good to see you, too.
Lady,
Yeah.
gentlemen,
Yeah, and-
the
and-
royal guys.
And you have moved back. You're back in L.A. now,
I'm
right?
back in LA now.
Is it good? I mean, it's got to be a massive relief to be back at your true home base.
Yeah.
Because
because
for-
I was here for like a year.
Right.
And it was I didn't move back because I had to. I moved back because my folks wanted me to be here for the pandemic. They're like, the world is ending. Why aren't you here? And I was
Yeah.
like, it'll be over in a bit. Like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And
I got things to do.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't, but then I guess it is.
Yeah, I don't know. It goes back and forth. Depends on the day and who you're talking to,
Or the state you're in.
Yes.
Or who
I like
your
that your parents
governor
don't
is.
want you to come back to Florida for the pandemic.
I
They're like,
know.
I'm in California.
where it's safer. It's significantly
They're
safer.
like, you
People
guys
don't
are
leave.
doing nothing.
Yeah.
Well, it really depends on if you believe it or not.
That's true. That's
I mean, here we never, like most comedians start with some sort of joke when, not you wouldn't because you're from here or have been.
Oh, no, I have a joke too.
Yeah, you've navigated Florida, but like most comedians that aren't from here immediately go like, well, you guys didn't take this serious.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm like, well, we did because we ended up getting it, and it was not cool, and and we've had listeners die, and it was it's a real thing. Yeah, I mean that's a real thing, but it was different here. Absolutely,
yeah, you're also
different
not
here.
running the state.
No.
So it's like, that's the other thing too, is Florida is like quite a weird little conundrum in the sense that it's like, we're here, we're not controlling it, but what do you want us to do? Like,
Right.
you want us to the whole state to get up and move? Like, that's not going to happen either.
If I was running the state, I would cheers with a Bud regular because that's more American. The Miller Lite. I'm like, Miller Lite.
Yeah, what is that?
Anyway, so Carmen, you are, so close to never returning our emails, our phone calls,
That's never
because
gonna
you'll be
happen. I'm not-
rocking it.
It's nice to know that's the kind of person you think I am, Tom.
Well,
I love it.
Well, no,
I love it.
I'll be happy. I'll be like, yes, she's too famous to talk to.
We have a lot of those people.
I would feel happy
A
for
lot
you.
of comedians that will no longer return our calls. We have
Yeah.
a list of them. Tom Rhodes because we actually we
Well,
made him
that's
mad.
different, yeah.
Bert Kreischer because too famous.
Oh yeah, Segura.
Segura, too famous.
Any of the
Any of the ones
but that
we've had,
mean-
yeah.
But it means that you've reached another level of fame.
Yeah, and we're happy. Yeah.
Talking to us would only help us, not help you.
It would hurt you.
Well, it wouldn't hurt you. It would just be a waste of time.
Well, it would
yeah.
kind of hurt you, I think, because people would be like, "Oh God, why is he doing that? I've never heard of these guys." And I think there's some of that.
Yeah, I don't think-
when Trump did Milk Boys, I was like, seriously, I was like, man. Maybe should have dodged that one.
Milk Boys.
Remember the Milk Boys?
Is that the YouTube guys?
This guy don't hear.
Yeah.
This is an old man over here.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So, Carmen, first, congratulations on your HBO
Thank you. It's
special.
a big TV debut.
Let's let everybody know how they can find it and where they can find it. I found it this morning on HBO Max. You
That's
can
right.
find it too. Look for the beautiful colors, and I don't know Spanish. What's it called?
Entre nos.
Entre nos.
Entre nos.
Did I do okay with
Yeah,
that?
you did great.
Entre nos.
Entre nos.
I-
It's kind of like a Comedy Central presents for Latinx comedians. Is kind of what the essentially it is, because
Well,
there's like a series and they pick a couple of comedians and then they film them and they put it out, and
It's pretty. It's
Yeah.
like they shot it well. Mm-hmm. It's very, very, very pretty. And it's really funny. And I urge everybody to go out there and check it out. Sorry to the guy after you didn't listen.
Well,
I'm just being serious. I'll come back, but I didn't have time. I was just like, I want to make sure. I didn't want you to come in here and me be like, I haven't seen it yet, like, because I do that with everything. So I'm like, no, I'm going to watch this, and we watched it and we enjoyed it, but I was like, okay, I'll stop there.
Yeah. Well, hold on. No one told me everybody was watching it before you came in, so I didn't know that everybody else was going to do it.
Yesterday, make sure to watch Carmen's special.
It's just show prep.
Never listens to me. Never listens to me.
I thought you just said that as like a, hey, this is, make sure, make sure to brush your teeth.
Make sure to watch it.
It's just like a suggestion.
I just thought you were saying it like just to say it. I didn't know you were saying it for me to listen and digest the information.
I thought it was just,
So I'm curious to how this all happened, when you found out. I want to know about the filming and all that.
Sure.
Okay.
My relationship started with them like 5 years ago. I think I had been living in Los Angeles maybe a year, and I had been doing this pretty awful bar show that was run by a real a good comedian, but the show was just a dive bar. Nobody gave about comedy, so I was just constantly convincing people to listen to me.
Yeah.
Right. And since I'd done the road for so long, like that wasn't that's my wheelhouse. So I used to go to that show all the time. And the producer, his name was Ben Gonzalez, also a funny guy, was just after me doing it, and he would start popping up shows over he just started producing shows around Los Angeles, and he knew every time he would open a new room, he would ask me to do it, because he knew regardless of the situation, I would be able to make it work, right? Just because grizzled. Right?
I feel like we helped you with that with BB King's. You can kind of thank us a little bit.
We're instrumental to Carmen's success in how poorly we've treated her. Yes, that's accurate.
It was just
I'm just saying, I don't think Bert got that kind of treatment.
You know what he did?
What?
We actually let him leave here with two of our most annoying listeners, and they went to Wing Out. You remember that? And I think that's when it dried up, because he was like, these guys going to lunch with me. That's my Bert. And I'm like, I don't know, whatever you guys work out. And then they left, and then we never heard from him again.
No, you're right. That's their fault.
You know the guy, because he just put some sod in for us.
So you're saying the two most annoying listeners that you guys had was also incremental to his success as well, because then shortly after that he blew up. So
that's when he got the bus. And
But so he was like, oh, there's this guy, he's trying to produce a he's trying to produce a show for HBO that's for Latin comedians, and he was like, he wants to do stand up in English, stand up in Spanish, the whole thing. And I was like, sure, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do whatever. And then so I did the cold open for the pilot, the shooting of the pilot, 5 years ago, and and just like a ballsy bitch, I did new material. You're definitely not supposed to do that when you're opening a show. Whatever, and it went really well, and I met some of the HBO people, and this producer Edwin liked me. Edwin and Victor are the two producers that are basically they run this project, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
And then it was like a show that was on HBO Latino, and then it kind of morphed into, got bigger. They actually, big picture, they're the perfect kind of guys that I would with, in the sense that they weren't all Latin comedians be like this. You know what I'm saying? They were actually progressive in the diversity of thought. Just like when people learned, for instance, about Ron Funches. Oh, there's black nerds out there. They're not all dressed like.
All right, just gonna reiterate, we cannot cuss on the radio, because I'm up to 10 now.
It's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, she's riffing.
I'm sorry. I am.
It's not I was running the special. I'd be like, "Where's your hat? Where's your cowboy hat? Where's your boots? Your boarding boots?" I have no idea.
Where's your sombrero? You're I'm not even Mexican.
We got burritos on stage.
What style of accordion music do you like to walk out to?
Yeah, exactly. Where's the tuba? Pull out the tuba. So I loved that, and so then it's kind of morphed into something that was Latin centric specifically, to now he's just he's produced people's half hours, produced people's hours, and it's they're all Latin, but they're all very different from each other, and it's really, really cool. So they were it was actually kind of random last year when I went to Los Angeles to kind of try to I've been trying to orchestrate my place to live over there for 8 months. It's been such a grueling process.
It's gonna be so hard.
But while I was there, I just I was hosting at the Improv while I was there, because at the Hollywood Improv, because they mess with me, and afterwards this dude comes up to me and he was like, Carmen? And I was like, yes. And he's like, why haven't we made something with you? And I was like, first of all, hi. Who are you?
Yeah. He could be anybody for saying that.
Yeah,
Like, what, are you going to steal my legs?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't know what's happening. Why have we made a lamp with her legs? I'm a psychopath.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. I don't know. I'm glad that's the first place you went. And I think that's why I travel more than you do, is because I don't immediately think everyone's going to murder me.
I hang out with Sam.
Yeah.
It rubs off of me, and we are paranoid, man. Woo!
It's good you guys can feed off each other's anxiety.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
it's great.
Especially when Tom's not here. It's Google Fest coming to get
So
us.
it turns out that was Victor. That was one of the producers that he was like, "Oh my god, like why aren't we working with you?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm right here, dude. Like why not? I don't know."
Yeah,
So then
I'm pretty sure that's your fault. because I want money. And I want to be on HBO. I've always wanted to be on HBO. You knew that. So it's your fault you're not working with me.
Right. So I wasn't that mean, but I was much more polite about it. But essentially, yes. So it was like, yes, sure. And so then it turned into, he was like, okay, we have the next session of Anthenos coming up. We want to work with you if you're open to it. And he's like, we're going to film in a few months. Would you be able to film? And I was like, yes, I've been preparing for this for a long time. I totally have it. So then, like a few months later, I was cut to me. I'm in New York City at the Chelsea Music Hall, and we're filming it. And it went great. I mean, the filming itself went great, but I mean, the week leading up to it was a nightmare. It was quite literally like an Uncut Gems film.
Yeah,
really.
And plug your podcast real quick, because there's a version of this. If you want the version that I listened to originally, and we're going to kind of clip notes it a bit, but it's a tale, man. Like it will make you feel like
I can't do the whole thing. I'll give you the cliff notes because we don't have the time for it.
Listen to Carmen's podcast.
Here's what when I was listening to it, and I want you to get into a little bit of that, and plug your podcast first.
Oh, it's called No Story, Don't Like It. It's anywhere you get podcasts at all. The name of that episode, it's me and my friend Katie Hughes. We did, I flew her out, and she came and was like, because I wanted somebody to be there with me through all this,
Yeah, you need like a side person there to...
A person that's sane, that goes, this is you freaking out, or you should genuinely be freaking out.
A helper. Like, would it have been completely different vibe had you not had an assist on the emotional side of it?
For sure.
Yeah.
Because she was definitely like an anchor. She's also very logical and super funny. So whenever I'd be like being ultra serious and like freaking out, she would make fun of me, and then I would feel better. And I was like, oh, that's right. None of this matters. We're all going to die. You know?
So I'm curious, and then we'll get into like all the calamity that happened before. But when you film a special like this, like I know just from what I've seen that sometimes, like, obviously you film it in front of multiple crowds, you wear the same outfit, so you could at least that's what I put together from like watching other people's specials.
I think there's different ways to do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then like
it all varies.
Yeah, and then like the crowd is also like important to the comedian of like, I want to make sure the crowd's good, right? So like, did you have any control of any of that?
I mean, the cool thing about these producers specifically is they let you be as hands-on as you want to be. And since I am like very much a control freak in that regard, they let me be involved in a lot of that. So like he would have conversations with me about that, and I was just like, but they did it right without me having to touch on that part of it, in that it was a taping. If you wanted to go, you could come, but it wasn't paid audience, because a lot of these specials suck because the audience is paid to be there. So they're like, oh, I'm supposed to laugh, ha 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 ha. You know, it's just not genuine.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really. I'm also this guy. Like, if you're a magician, I don't go and I'm going to your show, I don't Google it. You know, like I don't figure out.
Why would you?
It's just going to ruin it for me. So when I watch
enjoy the actual show.
When I watch most anything, like I've never really thought. Of course, they pay people to do that, but I've never even thought that they would pay people to go to
Is it because they want to guarantee the laugh when they want it, and like so they don't have to redo it in case the audience is bad, or like why?
I think it's just to guarantee that there will be people there. But this was sold out almost immediately. So
Sure.
it was like, it was never even a thing that we needed to do.
Because it's got a thing, it's known, people already know it's successful and it's quality.
And
wow.
And you want people to
That actually
want to
gives me
be there,
anxiety,
right? Like the crowd that wants and is paying to be there is going to be a better crowd.
Yes, without
Right,
question.
yeah.
Mhm. So I got lucky in that regard too. And then they also did like a little bit of an open bar as well.
Hey,
You
now.
know, so
Yeah.
he wanted it to be like a fun party vibe, and because he was like we were thinking of, because he was talking about the venues, like that was so cool about him specifically, because a lot of producers, you just show up, you have to do your job and leave, but he was like telling me what he thought about it, and he wanted to know my thoughts about it, like all of this. He's like, I want it to be kind of intimate. He's like, especially like the way that you do, and I was like, oh no, yes, I don't want a theater vibe by any means. I would love it to be like a club feel. So he was like, well, this is like in a basement, and I was like, perfect. I was like, that's my vibe all day. You know, that's perfect for me. So it was, I think we had about 80 to 100 people in this music hall that was rad, and we had open bar, and they'd filmed a bunch of B-roll and stuff like that, so I got to meet the guys that were filming it.
Oh, that's
good. And talk to those guys about it, and of course what always makes it better is Brendan, one of the dudes one of the dudes that's filming it is a huge comedy fan, so he's watched copious amounts of stand-up specials.
He
and
knows
stuff.
the way it's supposed to look.
Right.
Yeah.
And knows, like, you know, he knows about the cut, like if you're doing a facial expression, not to cut away from it, because I've seen people do that in specials where I was like, oh, this could have looked way better if you would have been thoughtful about this, or like listened, watched the show yourself, and then put it together.
Because even a facial expression can be a tag, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Or maybe more importantly, a massive tag. I mean, like even what you're doing right now with just eyebrows up, eyes big. It's like that's important, you know. Like,
well, I was curious too.
Interesting.
That do you give them, like, because I've seen in certain stand-up specials, like it's apparent that they told the producers, like, hey, during this joke, zoom in on my face, or like I'm doing a more of a, like, I'm using my hands a lot, or like I imagine that the comedian,
I think that's the editor's job.
Well, but the comedian probably has to give the cameraman a heads up of, like, hey, during this bit, does that happen?
How does that work?
No. I mean, if you're doing like an hour, like, because this isn't an hour, if you're doing an hour and it's your special, I imagine you would have more say so in that. But in something smaller like this, like those Comedy Central Presents, none of those comedians had a say in how, because some of them were cut so horribly, where they stopped in the middle of a sentence or a middle of a tag. Like, you didn't even get the punchline, you just cut the premise to then the tag. So now it looks like the joke is weaker than it is, you know?
God, that would be infuriating, because like all you guys are is jokes, right?
Yes.
I mean, like, I don't mean that in a negative sense. I mean that from a good sense, and it's like you're taking the only thing that I did and you're ruining
You're making
it.
it look bad,
Well, that sounds like old, because like Comedy Central probably more aligns itself with like old school Clear Channel, and what I mean by
it's
is
a
like
massive
a
entity.
giant media company that doesn't care, and then it gets to the editors, and the editors don't
they're
care, and they're just
pumping it out,
and they're like, you're ruining it. Like, what?
Pretty much, yes.
I
spent 2 years on those
Dude,
jokes.
that's the other reason why I like streaming services like Netflix and HBO and stuff like that. I like that what they're doing more, because you get to care,
and
you know?
they want the downloads, and they can tell how long people watch. And so if people are turning it off, it's bad for them and bad for the producers. Like back in the day, you couldn't tell. You just put it out. No one could even tell who was watching it, because it's all Arbitron and BS numbers.
It's all fake.
You know, so
it's crazy.
So the guys actually cared and knew what they were doing.
Yeah. So it was nice to work with people that cared and that liked what I did. So it's liked me, because he saw me do sets, that whole week. Because I was doing, so I wanted to do sets in New York before I'd filmed, because I hadn't performed in New York in again, probably 2 years. Yeah, because it was the March right before the pandemic was the last time I was in New York. So
what was that like? I mean, going back to New York, I mean, like, obviously
like,
different vibe with people.
Of course, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty assertive, so that place feels fine to me. Like, it's not scary how it would be to maybe some other people. But it's, I like it. I like that, because then it's also pressure, and I like pressure. So
There's one thing that sticks out in your of the audience in your special that you'll see her on the right hand side when you're watching Carmen. I believe it appears to be like a skinnier black lady who will lift her hand up to accentuate what you're saying, and she snaps. Have you seen her?
Yeah.
The snapping lady?
Yeah, I saw
Why is
it.
she snapping?
I don't know, but it's cool. Like I was like, I need to start snapping more.
That's a new thing when you agree with somebody. It's like it's an old school
it's like
slam
beatnik,
poetry thing.
yeah,
it's like a beatnik.
But now people do
Yeah.
it. People do it when they're like,
But she does it like this. Watch my hand. It's not just snapping. She does. It's like you
Like a
gotta like
pageantry.
you put
yeah,
a
just
little
a little bit
and
more.
I loved it. I was like,
flamboyant.
that's a good point. I'm gonna steal the snap thing. But it was a very New York thing to me. Like I looked at that, and I'm like, all right.
That's everywhere.
Yeah.
That's
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm an old man. I don't
It's
know.
okay.
nothing. I
I'm
was
just
like,
letting you know.
The kids are going to be like, that snapping's old, Grandpa.
In Florida, you sneeze your teeth out. Sorry.
What would you say?
Am I doing better on not cussing?
No, you're doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing fine.
Sorry, I got loose. I missed
Yeah,
you guys.
it's fine.
No,
We
it's
missed you
fine.
too.
Free
I was letting him fly, and I'm like, all right. She completely forgot.
Yeah, I did.
Well, so-
2 seconds ago, you told me.
So leading up to this special, what were the things that were happening?
It was like several things in a row, and like all I wanted to do was to find like my Zen moment to be like, this is going to be okay, and kind of get myself in a place where so I could perform the best I possibly could in an uncomfortable situation, so to speak, right? And it was just so many little things just kept like things that were out of my control, things that had nothing to do with me, things that weren't my job that I started picking up and doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, this was people who were trying to make something that's already kind of uncomfortable and vulnerable, like just being catty or mean or something like that, and it's just like excuse, I didn't
Right.
Yeah.
You can say that one.
yeah.
That one's okay.
Tell us about the bitch. Of course,
Yeah.
And it's like, bitch, aren't you like? Why are you making this harder?
Yeah.
You know. And it was like one of the art directors during the photo shoot, and then I was like, okay. And then it would just be like, this fell through, and so then we're gonna have to fix this, and like the dress that I wore.
Okay, this part is the part of the story that you know me and you know my anxiety. When I was listening to your podcast, you started talking about this, I started to flip out.
It was I'd hired a stylist because they gave me a little bit of budget to wear whatever you want. So I was like, oh yeah.
That's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. Perfect.
So where do you even get a stylist? Like, I don't know. I honestly wouldn't even know where to go.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
I would
looking at you right now.
I would go to Google and search stylist near me.
Your balls are about to fall out of your shorts, and you got your leg hiked way up.
Why are you looking?
I think I might be the only person in this room that hasn't seen your nuts anyway, so
Why
this
did
is
you
exciting
pull
for
your
me.
balls out?
He had his leg this high, pointing it directly at Carmen. That is harassment, sir.
She's
It's a power move.
She's sitting on a couch. I can't help it. Sorry.
It's called the white man way. So
then she sent me like a bunch of things, and I got to pick out the stuff that I wanted essentially. Which I was like, because she was trying to figure out like what my brand is and stuff like that. What do you want to look? And I was just like, it's kind of like a combination of like urban and kind of edgy and like a gothy, maybe kind of sent like a head nod to that. Like, so it was. So she figured she got all these things put together, and I was just like, oh, this is great. This is it. Because like what I wanted to wear, the only thing I was definite that I wanted to wear, and it was not like I wasn't budging on, is I had these Basquiat Doc Marten boots that I wanted to wear, and I was like, I want to build it from there, because he's an incredible artist, and he just started putting his stuff out on other things, like
That's
on
cool.
things. So I was just like, this is because it's art, and that's what I believe that what I'm doing is art, and so I want it to be like a symbol, whatever. It was like a silly thing for me.
It's your power statement piece on your big night.
Yeah. It was just like a thing. It was just like, sometimes you need something for you to feel confident or whatever, and that was like my one thing. I was like, I want to wear these really cool boots, and that's it. And then so we built up from there, and so she this really cool dress she had planned for me and everything, and she was originally she thought I was in Los Angeles, but I was in Florida at the time, so she was like had all this stuff in Los Angeles ready for me to take with me, and I was like, oh, I'm not there, and she's like, oh my god, then I have to ship this to you, and I was like, well, why don't I just use some of the budget to fly you to New York, and you come and just style me there, because I'm going to have to do photo shoots and all that stuff.
Awesome.
So since she was going to have to be there anyways, because she styles another funny comedian friend of mine, Jenny Zagrino. That's how I found out. I don't know a lot of stylists, but I know I've seen her work and I like it.
Got down Jenny
She
Zagrino.
styles a couple.
Write that down.
Yeah,
We'll get
Jenny
you a
Zagrino's
stylist.
rad. Yeah.
We'll get you a stylist, buddy.
Well,
Don't
that's a
you
comedian.
worry.
The name of the stylist is Kat Eves. She does men and women too. She's really good. But I have other stylists that I know now that I could recommend to you if you genuinely wanted to do it. It's not cheap.
No,
it's not cheap. But know that.
I can't even wear shoes, Carmen.
I noticed. So she, the dress, she was like, okay, well, then I'll just have everything shipped to New York and it'll be great, Then she comes out there. She forgot to tell that particular store with the dress for the special, because all the other clothes that she brought for the photo shoots and everything else shut up. But the dress for the actual taping was still in Los Angeles. Like they left it in Los Angeles. It was never shipped out. So
Never made it.
like, so then.
So this is like her. I mean, this is what
man.
she needs to.
Yes.
This is like, and all I could think of, not to make it about us, but as I'm listening to this, I was like, this is so one of our events. It's not even funny.
Yes.
Everything we ever go to do, there's always like the one big thing we need. It's not there. And then I play the role of Carmen in that I need my friend Katie to help me calm down while I'm crying. I'm crying.
Yeah. Like you're about to
Stupid. It's just not
Film
fair.
Now it's
an HBO
been a
special.
Week. Yes, it's a week of little things going wrong and me like being whatever. It's fine. It's going to be fine. But this was after all of the things going wrong, me losing my phone, me getting a needle in my foot.
Oh, you got this is on the
Oh my
podcast.
God.
Yeah.
It was just like a lot of things where at this point I was just like,
Some guy was tending to you and you were bleeding everywhere, and then he was like pulling out the needle. He was like, there's a whole thing.
But he was like a 23. He was the son of the producer, Edwin. He was trying to, like, a 23-year-old kid who's never had to deal with anything like this. So I have to be the calm one because he's freaking out.
Yeah, she's walking him through like performing surgery on a foot, right?
Yeah. Because he was just like, I don't want to hurt you. I'm like, it's gonna hurt. You need to get over that.
Yeah.
This is all the stuff you haven't heard that led up to the dress
Yeah,
not being. The dress is what 3,000 miles away.
So, anyways, what ends up happening is they ship a dress. It is the wrong dress. Now it's like a floor length weird. I was like, I look like a hippie.
Yeah, because little people, no offense, me and you, we look great in floor length things.
Yeah, exactly.
We look awesome when you make them longer.
Like a Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why?
Make them think I don't even have legs.
Yeah,
Perfect.
exactly.
Yes.
I feel like it should be the most important thing that people remember to bring.
Number one.
Number one. The one thing you are wearing for the special. Like, I can understand forgetting the other ancillary things, like the photo shoot stuff or like any of the stuff that's like less. But like the one necessity, the main important stylistic thing that Carmen needs is a dress
Is
for
the
your
dress for
special.
the thing. Yeah.
How does that get forgotten?
Also, like to
Well,
Look,
they
I mean, she's
forgot and they
shipping
sent the wrong
a bunch of things. Yeah, and then
That's
she did
true.
like that. She did ask for them to ship it, and then they just shipped the wrong dress too. So then I have this weird floor length hippie looking, and she can see on my face like I'm livid. I'm not being mean to anyone. That's the other thing too is I'm not being that person where everybody has to deal with the fact that things aren't going right. Like I'm not doing that either.
Like
so it's also
diva
me
out or
yeah, exactly.
freak out.
Expressing your
I
anger.
refuse to be that person.
Did you at all reach a point, because like I know I would, did you reach a point of just like almost like disappointment, exhaustion, where you're just like, I can't really be mean to anybody or yell at anybody because I'm just too tired.
Sure.
Or I'm too...
Yeah, that was me in the stairwell. I think I was on the phone with Larry crying because Katie had went to go get us bagels or something, and I was just like, I think I might just say forget this. Like I don't do it. Just forget it. I don't even care.
Yeah, like
I could die in Paducah, Kentucky doing stand up for 25 people at a time. I don't care. Like I don't need this is just too much.
Yeah, because for someone
I just
that's
don't want
not
to deal with
very
it.
like strong-willed, that'll make you quit. You're just like, this is too much.
Now-
Like, too many. Maybe this is a sign not to do it. There's so much going
Oh,
wrong.
I'm sure this has happened to
Oh, yeah.
other lesser strong comedians that said that's that, and that was the last day.
Carmen.
And now I own a farm, or
Yeah.
I don't know what they do, but you know,
Exactly.
You're an even keeled person, and you're not gonna, like you you said,
Except in a relationship, yes.
diva out on someone and start screaming at the person or whatever, because it's not your personality. But it makes me think the people that do that and have the reputation of doing that, like an Ellen or something, like I bet no one forgets Ellen's dress because they're all scared of her. Like, you know,
That's true.
And then I'm like, well, now I don't know what she's dealt with, and like maybe she's like that because so many people screwed up in the past.
Absolutely, I definitely believe that.
They just start yelling, like Tom Cruise yelling on the set about, all these people yelling, and like maybe that other people caused them to be like this.
Well, I make a lot of Ellen jokes about her being mean and stuff, but also a woman and gay in that world in entertainment, I think is a lot harder just by any means. So
but also at some point you're a rich person. Chill out, you're fine.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the whole thing. Is like this was a really cool thing happening to me. It's if things happen, and I was trying to like be in that space where it's everything's fine. It's gonna be fine, And but when the wrong dress showed up the day I'm supposed to be filming, I was just like,
Am I being pumped right now?
Come on.
Isn't that where in cartoons they make the person go? They go crazy when they laugh.
So because also it's not like say this was just a photo shoot. You're like, well, you can maybe get through it in a photo shoot because you're performing a stand-up special. You know what I'm saying?
For HBO,
this is not you have to have the right mindset getting on stage. Like you can't be distracted by things. You can't be thrown off.
Well,
you got to be comfortable.
She already is.
Because that's what I would think. I mean, like,
pardon me, I don't mean to distract you, but you don't have anything to wear.
Yeah,
there's a reason.
Driving me off.
I didn't have the hair. That was the other thing too. Is like because it was me and two other dudes that were filming, and the hair person fell through, got COVID. And that was the day before as well.
And your whole take on dudes and how they get ready for stand up is so spot on.
Yeah, they just go, I got a haircut yesterday. I'm good.
Yeah, I just got my leather jacket.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, leather jacket and a haircut.
Yeah.
So
you're good.
So did you go?
That's not fair.
Did you perform in the dress, the wrong dress?
No, this is how rad the stylist was. She saw it. She was like, "Do you like this?" And I said, "No, I hate it." And she goes, "Okay." She goes, "We'll fix it, and we'll fix it before showtime. Don't even worry about it." And then I was like, "Okay."
Yeah,
this is the day of.
Yeah, day of. And so then,
how are you supposed to turn this into the dress I want?
She hired a seamstress. She knew a seamstress in New York City, and so she came to the hotel and she showed me, and she was just like, what kind of dress? And she we talked about the kind of dress that I would like. I was like, I want movement. If I want to be able to move around, like I want to, I don't want it to catch on anything. I want it to be like tight on the and then loose everywhere else.
Tom doesn't believe in seamstresses, by the way. What you're describing is like a fairy flew down and deconstructed the dress.
That's essentially what she was. Yeah. She did it. And then because I saw the video after the fact, she basically did. She took the dress apart and then remade me a new dress.
Isn't that nuts?
It is crazy.
I would keep that dress for the rest of my life.
I did.
I do. It's got good energy.
It really does. Because it was like it ended up everything all came out at the. She showed up. They started letting people in at 6 p.m. She showed up at 6:15 with that dress, and I put it on, and it fit me like a glove, and it was rad, and it was perfect, and I was like.
Which is also
that's unbelievable.
That's also a distraction, though. Is ultimate positivity and happy crying.
Yeah,
this is too much. There's too many emotions.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to handle at the same time.
It really is. And the idea that, and this is why I've been saying that for I'm 5'2". Getting your clothes tailored is an important thing. Having a tailor as a man, as a woman, having a seamstress, this is important stuff. Out of all the things, like being a chef is important to me, but I wish that I knew how to tailor clothing. It's an actual skill that is underappreciated to me.
That happened. I went to a wedding and I had this dress and I was just like, oh, it's probably too long. It's too long. I got to get it trimmed, the bottom of it cut off or whatever. So I take it to a seamstress and she pinned up all of these other places that I didn't even know. And she's like, oh, I'm going to fix all of this too, because this is a little too big here. Yeah. And this is and I was just like, and then I put that dress on and I was like, this is a completely different dress. Right. This is an amazing garment now, all of a sudden.
Custom fitting makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's just like you see a dude in a suit, like at church on something, you're like, that's obviously off the rack. And then you see a dude that has a tailored suit, and it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, wow. I think every man should have 3 things: a rad watch, a therapy, and a tailor-made suit for them.
I like my men's dress shirts like a brown paper bag lunch squished up with lines. When I tuck it in, it's so billowy.
You know why you get squished around here? Because your pants are too tight. Your pants are too tight, and that beer belly.
You gotta stop using zip ties as a belt.
So when she gave you the new tailored dress, like how long before you get on stage and film your
40
special?
minutes.
That's
wow,
that's nuts.
So then, how do you get in the mindset, Carmen, of like all this stress, and then you got to get out there and perform, and you only get one shot, right?
Well, during because that was the other thing too, is the whole time, and I don't think I'm supposed to have this kind of relationship with the producer, but I definitely did. I called him, and I don't mean like that, but I just mean like I was just unapologetically honest with him, and I was telling him like all of this stuff is kind of like blocking my ability for me to be able to do a good job. So then like the day of, after the whole dress scenario and after the whole like there is no stylist and all that stuff, and I was telling him, I was like, this is ridiculous, and I shouldn't have to deal with this. And he's like, you're right, you shouldn't have to do this, none of this is your fault, you shouldn't. So he's like, I want you to go and turn off your phone, and he goes, and just be by yourself and silent for a couple of hours. And he was like, do whatever it is you need to do to relax and do that. And he goes, and don't talk to anybody. And he's like, I know call time is at 4. If you don't want to be there at 4, don't come at 5. Come at 5. Give yourself an extra hour or whatever. And I did. I laid there with the AC blowing on my face, and I put a face mask on, and I went through the whole thing. And I was just like, oh, none of this matters. Again, none of this matters. We're all going to die. And so what do I want to do? How do I want to envision? Because I was like, everybody that I talked to that had done this and it went well, like, and it looked good and stuff, they all said the same thing. They all just like, I took a minute and envisioned it going well. And I thought about it, and it was almost like a daydream. I daydreamed about it all working out and it all going smoothly, and how I would look doing it and how it would feel doing it and all of that stuff. And then I just kind of got myself back in that space right before I went up, And
it comes off very confident. And I like the way it opens. It opens cold, man. It's just like, boom, here's some stand-up, and I like that. I like it when they just roll it right into it, and you come off Sam and I both said that, you're very confident, and I like that. It was very good. I was very proud of you. It was awesome.
Because we did 2 shows, and the first show, Katie liked the first show better because she was like, you were surgical. There was no anything. But the second show, I was already like, well, I think I did, because, Katie was already in my ear. She's like, oh, you're done. So the second show, I had a couple cocktails, and I was way more loose. So then the producers like that, because they're like, that's how you normally are, was the second show. Okay. But the first show, I was way more like...
in your head about
professional. I was way more professional. I don't know if I was in my head because I was still doing, but I was definitely... I was looser in the second show.
The surgical analogy I got is like, you knew all the beats, you knew your act, and you hit it 100%, and then you let it.
But the second show, I had fun, which was the difference, and that was why the producer was like, I used the second show because you were fun. You were genuinely having fun.
How loose are they, or tight are they on? Will they give you the first show if you want it? Would they give you that just so you can have it?
It depends on the producer. It depends on who you're working with.
Because it would be cool if they would at least let you have it. I mean, you're not going to be making money off of it or putting it out there on your streaming service.
I think it goes back to, like, if I was doing an hour and it was mine or whatever, like, because that's the other thing, too, is, like, I don't own it. I don't own this. So that's different.
Right. Yeah, it's HBO's property. And I'm curious, do they...
Well, they have it for a couple of years. They have it for 2 years.
Okay. Yeah. Do they give you any idea of how many people are going to see this? Like, do they even give you a hint of like, it's like a lot of people are watching, or no, not like you get no.
I don't think they know. How are they going to know how many people watch it?
Well, I imagine through like streaming, they got numbers. They should
be able to.
They would after the fact. Oh, you mean like if they're going to update me with how good?
Yeah. I'm curious if they even
not that I know of
the the talent know how it's doing. I would be curious about like if you film the special and like, well, how many people watched it?
Well, my corporation senses are saying that they're going to not care.
Yeah,
like
they're not,
like,
not only that,
to
but
tell
they're not going to tell you. It's information. Why would they give you that information? Then you have leverage against them to work with them in the future.
Yeah.
So, for instance, like if you did a Netflix special, you don't know how it did. You just know whether they will work with you again or not, and that's going to be the indicator of how well it did.
I just thought like maybe the producer was cool, or like someone would be like, "Oh yeah, dude, real good." Just some sort of
like the time we sold tickets for Universal Studios, and they came to us and said, "Hey, we're not supposed to tell you this, but you guys crushed it." And we're like, "Really?" And then they stop answering.
Was there anything different about like filming this than a regular like set you would do? Like, do they stop it at all? Do you like? Is
That
there
was
any
what I was gonna
production,
ask, yeah.
or is it just they film it as it went and as your stage show goes, and that's it?
I think if you're doing a taping, you do have that freedom a lot of times.
Like you could stop it and be like, stop, then start it again.
You're too ugly for my special.
Get out.
Have him removed.
Pretty people to the front.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there is things that, like, for instance, the cord fell, like, and during Alfred's set, the cord fell out of the mic and stuff. So they had to, like, and he didn't realize it. So he was performing with no sound. So they had to restart his. So then it was like
that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, of course, especially if you were doing well,
Yeah. It happens in here. I'll do some stupid parody thing that you hate, and I'll be doing some dumb impression. I'll look over, I didn't even hit record, and I'm like, your whole life sucks. Go home, and I'll just go home.
Well, because then you gotta be like, I'm gonna do this again.
It's never the same.
Have the same energy,
No.
crowd.
Yeah. And you have to ask them. I mean, and then, like, the beauty of editing is you can recreate it. You can. So that's the other thing too. As long as you do the same
because
thing,
you can take the audio from the first laugh and then edit it in.
And a lot of time that endears you to an audience, because then they're like, "Oh, this is real. This is happening in real. This isn't
human. There's a human up there.
Yes, it's a real person." So.
So after this, I mean, you put this out there. It's out now. Everybody can go and see it. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, you don't stop there. I mean, what are you working on now? What's new? You're back in LA full time now.
I am.
A Comedy Store still working.
Yeah, I'm not working the door, but I'm still in development with them, so that's cool. So I get to go up, which is really nice. Everybody's kind of been cool. Like I'm not really certain. Like I mean, I think that's the whole thing, is we're supposed to kind of see how well it does and see what I get out of it. As far as like social media numbers and all that, and all the other, if it like helps me with ticket sales and stuff like that. Like
I think it should. Yeah,
mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, I hope so.
It's front and center. You type in comedy, it's the first thing that comes out, unless everybody's algorithm is different. Mm-hmm. Like when I went there this morning, it was the easiest thing to find.
Okay, good.
That was great.
You start thinking about, like, that's why I asked you about the numbers, because like, especially because HBO, like HBO, I don't know how, like, if they're still in like every hotel across America, but that was a huge thing, right? Which I'm sure just carries on, where every hotel across America has
it's
HBO.
Still a thing, yeah.
So then it's like, now you have millions upon millions of people every day staying in a place that are watching HBO. Like, I'm curious of like how many people are going to see the special,
and on airplanes,
like over 1 million.
That's awesome
for sure, right? And like that's an insane amount of humanity that gets to see you and hear your name and see your comedy.
Yeah, I definitely haven't been thinking about it like that, but when you say it like that, it sounds really weird.
It's awesome, though. I think it's amazing. Like, I just think it's so cool. I know friends of mine, relatives that I know that know you from our show, know your appearances on here, and are now able to go and see you.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I mean, they could have done YouTube or something, but now they can see you in like top tier, amazing HD quality,
well, that was what was cool.
dress.
I thought they were just going to put me on the streaming service, which is cool, but they also aired me on HBO as well.
Yeah.
It was like on May 6th at 10 p.m. and they aired me on actual HBO too.
That's
so
dope.
then it's also people who are just casually watching HBO that weren't, that's usually more of an older demographic that doesn't really mess with streaming as much.
Weight,
but it's still got to be millions. Like,
for sure.
Like, worldwide and stuff like, and that's just an insane amount of humanity that gets exposed to you, and like,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's really neat.
That's
I'm
why
so
she
proud of
needed
you.
the right dress.
It's awesome.
And
yeah, exactly. Look at the dress. You better like it.
Good.
It's a good dress. I like the jacket too.
I love the jacket.
Yeah. Did you keep the jacket?
Oh yeah, I kept everything.
Yeah, you got to keep the jacket. Don't be slapping her shoulders. You come back, you'll be losing your hand.
Let's end with business.
Come on.
I'm curious, like, dude, like, what I wonder, because now you have all this exposure, like, what is the call that could happen? Like, as any other, I'm sure you've talked to other comedians that have filmed specials and then has been out and then can give you, like, oh, this may happen or this, or you may get more
ultimately
requests. I don't know.
This is big to somebody who's not. This is big to, like, well, I mean, still to me, but like us, this is a big deal. But as far as industry wise, this is just a really good tape and a genuine, like, oh, she knows how to do stand up well, and she's done it on HBO. So it just legitimizes me as a stand up comedian. So and then potentially it could help me as far as like acting work and stuff like that if I wanted, because then that's like, she knows she can do characters or whatever. If you can see a little bit of that in there, like just stuff like that. That's really all it is.
Or just perform under the stress of having this happen, like which that's a lot of people may fold and not perform like up to
it was even worse because like when it was originally supposed to come out April 1st.
Right.
And then such a cruel
maybe
April
the whole
Fool's
thing
joke.
was a test to groom you to see if you could take the stress, like send her the wrong dress. Now send her, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes, now she's ready for Nexium.
And if she can handle all this, then she can handle
when
anything.
It came out too, it was supposed to come out and it got pushed back, and then like the whole doing a lot of the press and stuff like that, like for all of this stuff, like through all that, my sister passed away too. So it was like all of that, and then it was like I also had like an audition for Netflix and an audition for all this other stuff. So it was like anything that's been like cool that's been happening to me has been surrounded by either stress, anxiety, or tragedy or whatever, and it's just like everything that's really cool that's happened has not been like, oh yeah, it's great. It's so great.
It sounds too stressful,
like you get
Carmen.
to enjoy it.
Yeah, no, not
Carmen,
at all.
just
not
come
at
back
all.
to Florida. Sorry,
You sound like my dad.
Just come back, Tommy, come back.
God.
Sorry,
We love you so much.
You could drive the comedians here. So easy.
Exactly.
You do the bull and bush. Too much stress. But Carmen, I'm so happy for your success.
Thanks, man. I'm really happy about it too.
Let's go.
It's awesome.
Let's slam those streaming numbers. Why don't we?
Yeah.
Just go fire it up. Check it out. You will like it. You will very much enjoy it. Go see our friend Carmen, your friend too, and let's get those numbers up.
Tag me in it. Take a picture. Tag me it on the Instagram. I'll share it.
Yeah, definitely do that.
It's amazing to see.
And just name of the special again so people know.
Entre Nos.
Okay.
ENTRENOS, but again, if you go to, even if you just search my name, Carmen Morales, it'll come up.
Is it on HBO now? I still have my account. I don't know.
That's a thing still?
I don't know. I still have the app. I go on and I'm like,
you just have things you need to throw away.
You still have the app.
It's now. It's better to go. All right. Bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Kimmy Sammy.
Kimmy Sammy.
Kimmy Sammy.
Kimmy Sammy's
We
with
start
us?
calling you Kimmy Sammy.
God damn it.
Oh, Kimmy Sammy is here. It's Kenny Samuels is here from the Two Moofs podcast.
That also was not my last name.
Samsel.
I didn't mean to say Samuels.
talk to
Why did I
Samsel.
say Samuels?
I'm writing this down for the awards.
You know what?
Samuel.
Little Kimmy Samuels
Kimmy Samuels is
from
here.
the Time Ifes podcast.
Now you got me blushing because I'm trying to make a point. I said your name wrong too. We're both idiots. Let's do voicemails and emails.
Who are you?
He just walked into the studio, didn't even lock the door.
I'm sorry, Samsel. All right, here we go. This is from Zach. Everyone loves Zach.
Hey gang, it's Zach from Ohio. What kind of deodorant do you guys use? I hate the white chalky stuff that when you try to wash it off in the shower, it feels all sticky. I normally have always used Dove Men's. It's the blue gel kind. It's not the kind that you you squeeze up and it squirts out. It's just not chalky. So it's way better than having chalky armpits.
I
you
use
use the
Dove.
gel?
I use the Dove deodorant. It's a gray can. I use spray deodorant because I'm locked into DeLand Middle School.
You spray?
I use spray deodorant because I am forever DeLand Middle School gymnasium changing room. Forever, I will always be in the locker room and everybody's yelling and there's deodorant and I will grab my bright teal can of Degree spray deodorant and I would fog my armpits good and fog my genitals if they needed it and I would not take a shower because I was a tiny bean, and away I would go. DeLand Middle, I would not take a shower.
Yeah. I didn't know anybody took
Teal
took
degree.
showers.
The teal degree. And then one on the genitals and out the door. Hey. Everybody's yelling, screaming. There's showers everywhere, and I just had to get the hell out of there.
I never got the gel because it's just always sticky.
I agree.
Every
The
time
gel
you put-
comes to the top. You see there's 100 holes in the top, and you see the rounded part, and then it says give it 2 clicks, and you go click, nothing. Then you go second click, too much. Always.
But then you put it on, you immediately put your armpits down. It's like, well, they're glued shut.
You gotta, if you do the
You gotta
gel, you gotta
wiggle it.
air it out and let it dry.
I used to smear it in.
I hated it.
I used to smear it into my armpit hairs.
I use the Right Guard Extreme because I'm so
Extreme.
It's endorsed. That was the one I think that was endorsed by Exhibit, and he would just like yell at the camera for a while.
We're gonna pimp your armpits.
But no, I like it. I mean, it works for me. It is a little chalky, but I don't have the problem that Zach has about it being like all weird when you're trying
What
to
do
shower.
you use, Sam?
I use Secret,
Okay.
Invisible Solid, clinical
Strong
strength.
enough for a woman, but made for a man.
Did you guys know that this? Because you said Exhibit, which made me think of Pimp My Ride. Did you guys know that Lil Jon's coming out with a home renovation show where he's basically going to pimp your house?
I
But
saw
it's gonna
that.
be garbage. It's gonna He's gonna show up. He's gonna be like, "What?" And then it's
saw
gonna
him,
be crap.
He did the quintessential kick through the drywall.
Oh,
when
all right.
They're taking a wall down, so they're like, all right, kick
It's
through
called
it.
Lil Jon Wants to Do What?
What?
Well, that could mean anything, right?
Who wants to see that?
I want to see it.
I mean, you said that, but
I'm probably with Sam on this one. I
Vanilla
probably will watch.
Ice's home renovation show was on for like 10 years, and he's made millions off of it.
Yeah, but
did
he
pretty
actually
good on
did that. Like
and he took it too serious for me to watch. Like I'd watch
Like-
it, and it would be a serious show, and I'd be like, "Well, I'm out."
Like I think Vanilla Ice took
he's
his
a flipper.
fame and money and then started flipping
100%
houses
a flipper.
into real estate.
That's his
So
prime
then,
job.
Yeah. So then when they created the show, like he's already doing it. Is Little John doing that too, or is he just the host of it? And has no idea.
He's a co-host of it. He's actually working with
Ty Pennington.
a lady that does this for a living. He's just coming with the ideas, right? Like the crazy ideas like they would do on Pimp My Ride, where it's like you got an aquarium in your trunk, like dumb stuff, you know? I can't wait.
An aquarium in my trunk would be pretty rad.
Have
But the poor fish.
I know they've done some of this, and probably ABC probably shuts it down, or they have like agreements, non-disclosure, like you can't. But has there been follow-ups with all the extreme home makeover houses and seeing
There have been a few.
how
yeah.
people's houses have fallen apart?
They don't like to do it because
And
a
I think
lot
that's
of
why
those,
that show went away.
Well,
Yeah, they rush job that stuff, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they don't want. It doesn't look good if you're up on it.
It looks good for one day.
Yeah.
because they had to do it in a week or
It's kind of like
whatever.
our studio. It's like we got it just good enough to take the photos, and then everything just started to fall off the walls.
Well, and if it doesn't fall to disrepair just because of bad at living, a lot of people can't afford the taxes on it.
Sure.
So they end up having to sell it, which again is fine. You get the money from that, but you don't get to enjoy the home that they built for you.
Yeah, and also like your air conditioning, a 6,000 square foot house, and you're just like, I can't. I have 2 ACs running all the time. Like just the upkeep, and it starts falling apart after a while, especially if it's built shoddy. So you're actually hindering these people. Like the first day, like, oh, we got this awesome thing. We got a treadmill and a pool that you could swim in. That one of those tiny lap pools or whatever that has the jets, so you could swim in one place or whatever.
Yeah, like a lap pool.
But that whole thing, like the pool equipment, the maintenance for that thing, like you need a person every week to maintain that,
right? And it wasn't well thought out. You just kind of threw it in the ground. And
it's all for the entertainment. It's not for the actual betterment of any of these people.
The chat room brought up Trading Spaces. I was a massive Trading Spaces fan back when it was super popular. I'd watch the hell out of that show.
Like I stumbled upon, I was sitting there, I think yesterday, and I was like, let me just turn on the TV and see, watch some garbage for a second. And I saw this some network show called Biggest Cheapskate, and maybe a TLC or something like that, like one of those shows like Hoarders or whatever. But this is highlighting the biggest cheapskate or whatever. So I'm like, oh, this will be interesting.
Yeah, this will be funny.
See how some mentally ill cheap people. And then I forgot how cooked those shows were, and they were like for the lowest common denominator of the country or whatever to watch. And I forgot how fake they were. The first scene was like him at a restaurant, and because I wanted to see the reality, because there's a reality of people that are so cheap that like
well, then it's a
Gilbert
mental problem.
Yeah, but like it's fun.
Everybody loves mental problems.
But so hoarders and all this stuff is mental problems.
Yeah.
But you're watching it, you're like, look at these people's lives; they're worse than mine.
Yeah, I mean Amber Heard and Johnny. That's all mental problems, right?
And,
all of it.
Yeah. And then, so this guy, he's at a restaurant, and then he gets up out, like they're filming him. He gets up out of the table, and then he starts asking the people next to him. He's like, "Hey, could I have your leftovers?" So like he's a New York guy, and then it's obviously fake.
Yeah.
And obviously, like you don't do that. That's not even a normal thing that even cheap people. They don't go over and ask people what before they're even finished eating.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
for
it's
their
all set up, dude.
And then I'm just like, garbage. Like, show me the reality is actually more interesting than this bull ass that you're trying to portray to us. But then I forget it's all for dumb people. It's
And
like,
you're right. You hit the nail on the head. It's the lowest. I mean, because shows are so easy to make now. A lot of them are just a person and a camera and an editor back at base. You know?
There was one that I saw. This guy is like a restaurant product reviewer, so he gets shipments of like pots and pans all the time. He saves all of the styrofoam peanuts, pours it, and that's his bed. He literally like pours styrofoam peanuts and puts a sheet over it and lays on it, and that's his bed that he has. So he never has to pay for any mattresses or anything.
That's so stupid.
Well, what
That's stupid.
You can get free mattresses.
And that's coming from reviewing Mario.
Yeah, just look around the trash.
Well,
yeah,
you- but
people
I'm saying,
throw them
like,
out eventually.
you
Yeah,
can
there was
go-
one in Castleberry the other day when I was going to your pool party.
There's always a stain on it, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah. You can
There's a
Put a
stain on
sheet
my
on it.
mattress.
like I'm virtually certain you can go on Craigslist or like OfferUp or
Yeah,
some of the things. And,
free mattress, yeah.
Yeah, and people
Come
get
pick
free.
it up.
Like, so you don't need to make your own out of packing peanuts. That's for the show or for whatever or something. You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
unless you really like it, if it feels good, and you're like, nothing beats
Even
it
the
old.
noise, though. How you sleep, you roll
It'd be like a
over. and it's just-
beanbag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So about 10 years ago, Extreme Makeover actually did a house over in Cocoa. So I don't know if they're still there, but that might be an opportunity if anyone knows them that you can interview them and
Dude,
talk to them.
there's one behind Altamont, or right in
there's
Altamont
one
on
in Maitland.
436.
Oh, there was?
We went there when they were doing it as a radio thing.
Was that
This
the
is like
lady
10
the kind lady that like would always open her doors to the community?
Yeah,
she was
yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of beloved within the city,
Yeah.
and they were trying to help her out, but I think it ended up hurting her a little bit.
Well, just like
It's too
all
expensive.
of it. But I see every time I drive by it, I always look down the street because you could see it, and it's this gigantic monstrosity, which, by the way, is probably worth a lot of money now. Like when they built it, 10,
Well, like what's the
15 years
condition
ago.
of it now, right?
There's still palm trees, and it's like it's not. I mean, how bad could it be?
Well, the inside, I mean,
the
interiors can get a little grody.
Yeah. Like
yeah,
someone,
but people will still buy it even if they need to renovate it.
in
a
this
bit.
market, like it's
anything's for sale.
Yeah, although it's like it's in a weird location, and it's like a weird location for a mega mansion, and that's the thing. It's like regular 1950s flat roof Florida houses, and then all of a sudden this gigantic 50-cent mega mansion next door to it is bizarre.
Yeah, this is an article from 2013 that somebody threw in our Twitch chat room. And basically, this particular house, they had to have they won the home in 2006. In 2013, about 7 or 8 years later, they had to have a big garage sale and sell everything. One of their neighbors is quoted as saying the show set them up to fail. Quote, I don't think they think ahead when they're making all of these home improvements. They don't realize their property taxes are going to go up. The air bills are going to go up. Electricity, everything weighs in. So they were...
Yeah, that's not their concern. They're just trying to make a show. I mean,
right. They're not supposed to
unfortunately-
budget it for you. I mean, it's just like, hey, do you want us to do this? Okay, sure. Well, here's your house. Good luck with it.
Yeah.
Well, now they get. I mean, they sell a house for $1 million plus. I mean, now it's probably worth an insane amount. But I mean, at least they got that. You just go back to your situation after.
One of the few good things that I did when I was in radio is we did a promotion where we gave away a house, and it was one of those like, for the 6 months we're getting finalists who call in, whatever. And then we actually went to the house. It was out in Mount Dora, and we did one of those reverse drawings where the last name selected wins the house or whatever. And so when we did that, the guy who had won was so appreciative. He had saved up money all his life to put down as a down payment for a house, but he could never afford it.
Yeah.
But now that he won the house, that down payment can go towards taxes and bills and maintenance, stuff like that. So it was actually one of the rare cases where the person who won legitimately should have won, and it wasn't just some prize hog or anything.
Yeah. That's rare too.
Oh, extremely rare. But and when he told us that story, I thought he was making it up, but no, he was showing us that he'd been talking to mortgage people and stuff like that, and now he got a free house in Mount Dora, and he had it. And I was like, wow, we actually can do good. We don't, but we can.
Yeah. I wonder if he still owns it, or if he immediately sold it.
That's true. This was this was 2006, 2007. So a lot of my stories, I realize, are from 2006, 2007.
A lot of us are too.
That was my glory days.
I hope he immeditely sells it a year later. He's like, the reason I can't keep this house is the same reason I couldn't buy one. I didn't deserve it. I'm joking.
You want to do? Let's do another one. Defending.
Come on.
Defending. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
We're making jokes here.
I'm with you. Follow you to hell.
Hey, I was listening to your last OG show, 476, where you're talking about how entertaining baseball is. If you have to defend how entertaining your sport is, oh, guess what? It's not entertaining. It stinks. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes baseball.
Okay, well, you heard it from this guy.
We never said that. We never said how entertaining it was. Our whole theory was about the...
I think this was towards me and me saying how entertaining I find it. But if you have to call in and defend an argument about something stinking, then isn't your argument being applied to you?
Was he trying to do a Tom impression?
No, I think he was just trying to give the emphasis of something that he thinks stinks. But, okay, sir, we heard it from you. Yes, baseball stinks. Well said.
But that's the reason why I think it's going to survive, is because it's a different type
it's a different
pace of sport that I feel people are going to gravitate to, like Daniel, that don't like the anxiety of other sports or want something to watch that's very low anxiety, low pressure.
Super exciting because the Braves came back to win. Mm-hmm. They were already not doing so hot, and the Sox were up, and the Braves came back. So it was very exciting. It was good. A good game last night.
I think it's really weird. So football is one of those, a lot of people say it's way better to watch at home than it is to go to a game.
Yeah.
Conversely, I would say that hockey is... not that it's bad to watch on TV, but it is so much fun in person that it's hard to watch it on TV because
same thing with soccer too. I feel like
I love hockey
better
on TV, so I can only imagine how much more fun it would be if I went, because I enjoy it. But it does hockey can get my anxiety a little too high. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm watching it and the Lightning are very close to taking the lead. Or they're tied up, or if they're having to come back, or if they pull their goalie or anything, I'm like it's real dicey for me. I gotta decide whether or not I want to leave it on or turn it off.
And also, this guy's got to realize, everything's subjective, right? Some people like different things than you like, or find different things entertaining.
He's defending his argument.
Everybody likes different things.
He was too stupid to even understand that by defending his argument, he was ruining his argument. So you're dumb.
In some ways, he is doing a Tom where he's just crapping on something that other people like, that's a Tom thing.
I do it.
I was pointing out.
I do it too, but I don't get as much heat for it.
I was just pointing out at the end. He's like, "Well, guess what?" And then it was like, "Oh,
that's not Tom to me. I don't know."
No. Tom would be like, "It stinks."
Well, he did say it stinks.
He did,
but not as good as Tom. No. Tom's got a special delivery when he does that. It's really, really good.
And then again, I don't gravitate towards baseball, but I did enjoy it when Daniel put it on the background at a party. I did like that aspect of it, of background stuff. And then my whole theory about the anti-anxiety low pace of it is attractive to some people.
It's only exciting when it needs to be.
Yeah, which may be a benefit to itself because it's unlike the other sports. Anyway,
this is going to be weird. You ready?
Tom and Dan and Sam. Hey guys, it's Kenny. I was listening to Dan complain about getting a phone call because they didn't have the right pork for his sub. Unfortunately, they have to do that because people would lose their GD minds if you don't give them exactly what they asked for. I used to do food delivery for Shipt, and someone would ask for like a 10.4-ounce box of Frosted Flakes, and I would get them a 10.6-ounce box because they changed their packaging and they didn't have the other one, and they would lose it on me because I didn't call them to notify them of this change, even though it might be cheaper or the same price or whatever. They ask for a specific thing, and I must tell them exactly when it's not there. So yeah, unfortunately that happens. I know Tom's going to just yell, well, that's just a crazy person. Unfortunately, Tom, it happens so much. Like, I would just get yelled at for the dumbest things. So yeah, they got to do that. So sorry, Dan, you got to put up with those phone calls. All right, guys. Love you. Bye.
Is it weird to sit and listen to your own voicemail? I've always wanted to do that.
It isn't, because I'm crazy, and so when I record it before I hit send on the email, I listen back and I was like,
"Whoa, you do?"
I was like, "Do I?"
You're the guy that does it,
and I'm like, "Do I sound like an idiot?" I was like, "Wait, did I say something wrong? Did I come
You
off
really
crazy?"
do that?
Yeah.
I don't even read my emails I send.
We know. Yeah, I know.
I just hit send as soon as I'm done with that. I'm like, it's send.
Yeah, you also never sign your emails, which I think that's a dumb old man thing. I sign my emails. That's dumb old man, right?
Well,
when you put any, like, why do I got to sign it? It's coming from me.
Right.
You're just going to assume it's coming from me. It's my account.
Do you have an email signature, though?
I do, and I still sign it. I put a little D, because guess what? I'm little D. I don't put a big
but
D.
It says your name.
I understand that, but I think that by putting my signature on it means that I'm giving it the amount, like, it's your way of knowing that I reread it and I believe everything I'm saying.
So you did Shipt.
Yeah, food delivery during the COVID times.
Now tell me about it.
It's over now.
Because my wife still uses the food delivery stuff. It's convenient, especially for your everyday stuff or whatever.
Y'all do everything delivery now too, right? Laundry, groceries.
Well, that laundry I suggested. Chris was like, I'll do it. I'm like,
I'll be a ninja warrior.
Anyway, so the people would, because I know that people like the shopper will say like, oh, they don't have this. Can I substitute it with
you're
this
supposed to already give those things, right?
So there's a couple ways you can do it.
Like on Kroger, you go ahead, like you'll pick something and they'll say, whoa. There's limited availability. Give me 2 more choices. And you give like 2 more choices. That way you don't have to be answering the person. It's already in queue to know that if they don't have Wickles pickles, that getting, regular old Clausens are fine. You know what I mean?
So those are the best customers that if they put that, even if they don't put it, they'll say, hey, I trust the shopper to get a substitute.
Yeah.
And they'll put that.
Do your best.
So if they didn't have, the 12-ounce box of Frosted Flakes, I'll get them the 14-ounce box, and that's fine. They're okay with that.
I never, probably at least once an order, like someone will get something that's different than Crystal requested or whatever. Like it happens, or that kind of thing. And then Crystal's like, oh, they got this brand instead of this brand or whatever. Or like, I didn't want to buy one, get one, but they just gave it to me, whatever. Yeah. But we're always like, oh, well, never thinking to complain to the person or write a bad review is because, like, this is a service that didn't exist, 2 years ago or 4 years ago.
So you're appreciative.
And also, like, it's just a person that's, like, signed onto the app that does this, a random stranger, so it's, it's kind of it's kind of like when you do a contractor or someone does something at your house or whatever. It's never 100%. It's 95%. And then you're just like, okay, though that's what it is. Yeah, it's what it is. But people want perfection, which is insane.
And not just that, but the people who use it, one of the things, hey, they don't have the exact brand of pickles. I will text them and communicate with them, and they don't respond. And so I'm like, well,
we do.
I can't get you the pickles.
No,
so I'll
I want you to wait there and stand in Publix until I get out of the shower.
Well, Andrea will reply to the person, and there was one time where she was laying. This is during in the middle of COVID, so this person must have had time, and obviously we had time because we weren't going anywhere or doing anything. And Andrea was messaging this person all day. Replacements, no, that's fine. You can get that. No, you can get this. And I'm like, God damn, that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
should have just gone to the store.
Like, you want chips, you're gonna get some sort of chips. Just whatever. This is what it takes.
You want a sandwich and a chips and a drink. Okay, we'll have a drink in there, something to eat.
Yeah, but again, coming from you, that's weird if you're saying that, you don't care, but there are people that are like, nope, has to be Lay's potato chips, can't be Wise.
Well, then
potato
you
chips.
do it. You get your fat ass down there and do it yourself.
Yeah.
Damn.
So when I did ship,
I agree with that.
there was someone who needed a Target order, and with Target, it's not just groceries; you can get like the non-grocery stuff too.
Tampons.
And they wanted, I swear to God, triple XL tidy whities, but they wanted like 20 packs of them.
Damn.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like,
It's hard not to judge that, right?
So I get it, and I wipe Target out of the triple XL tidy whities.
Pun intended.
and I deliver
This
it.
person definitely has gross doo-doo.
So I deliver it to them, and they give me like a really good tip because obviously it's a pretty embarrassing, order or whatever.
I mean,
and
it's
then
weird.
Their order came up again, and I recognized the address, and I was like, oh, okay, let me try to do this order again. I know that, whatever.
1640 big ass land.
And then I click it, and it's like, oh yeah, you're ineligible. Apparently, they had blocked me from doing any future orders.
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking they were embarrassed that I knew that they were morbidly obese.
It's the big fat underwear man.
What do you care?
Yeah.
Well,
The first rule of being a big fat underwear man is only using one shipped shopper a week, and then you block them.
They gave me a good tip, though, I will say.
Us normal people, I feel like we are unaware of how many crazy people
Wait,
are
am I
out
normal?
there.
Am I in this conversation, or are you just talking to
You're
Kenny?
like the blade of crazy.
One blade.
You
of crazy.
will be the triple X underwear guy one day. Yeah. But
I'm
anyway,
more of like a medium plus.
You're a normal walker.
we don't encounter that many totally insane people that are around in our society all the time because we're like, we normally you're at your coworkers or friends and family. That's it. And then every once in a while you'd be like, oh, that person's crazy. But the people that have to deal with crazy people for their job, I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
Like firefighters, like nurses,
Teachers.
Anyone that has to work with the public at all.
Yeah.
Managers at Publix, I can't imagine the amount of people.
Managers at stores.
I think it's normally
managers
at
Walmart.
manager. Like a manager I never see anymore. We used to,
Oh, yeah,
the manager
yeah.
over
Yeah.
here, we used to see that guy all the time. He gone. That guy's gone. After COVID, he's like, I'm out of here.
He's in
Assistant
that-
manager?
He's in that tiny back room that has one desk and one
We have
computer.
It's up top.
Ours is
Yeah.
up top,
Oh.
and then they have like secret windows so they can stand up there and look down on you.
In like a bailiff in a courtroom, like anybody
Yeah.
that deals with the court system. Oh God, that's the worst. We don't talk about that. Like people.
DMV.
Oh, DMV!
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
DMV's bad.
man, we should throw out a prize to the person that has to deal with the most crazy people.
Whoever is in charge of jury
Besides
duty.
therapists.
Oh yeah. Well, no.
Well, if they're going there, they're not that crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
What if
Yeah.
they work at a mental institute?
That's
They
just
see-
going to be funny.
because that's you.
sad.
Because you can tell people like, get out of here. You can yell at them.
Over-medicate them.
Yeah,
yell
yeah,
at
yeah,
them.
This guy's eating his feet again.
Because when you have to be polite and courteous and customer service to crazy people, that's the worst job.
Yeah,
Because
like
you
at a
can't treat them
store-
like you like at the mental institution.
They have
you
no
just-
rights.
You're hitting them in the head.
yeah,
you're like, get out of
tasing
here.
them. You push them through double doors. You're duct taping
You lock
their
them up.
hands.
Anyway, bye-bye. Like, for instance, even... I guess if someone was walking me through it, that's the problem. Like
I can fly.
You
I
have
would
someone
be able
walking,
to do it, dude. Out of anybody on this show,
Well, how easy? That's what I'm saying.
I would be
Is
able to do
just
it.
Instructions?
I even know where.
Like, don't you have to have any feel for landing?
I know where all the buttons are just from what I've been training for on MS Flight. I'm your guy.
So my question: we need to talk to a pilot. That's what we need.
We have a lot of pilots that listen to this show. I like them. They're very even keel. They're logical, and they give me the real about flying. They're like, "You're an idiot. It's very safe."
I mean, I can call my, Alex. She knows how she's flown solo before
Oh, man.
in Cessna planes. Like, so she's landed, taking off by herself. Like, I just
Uncle
want
Dan let me spit on my house from his helicopter.
I've asked her this. I think at my house, I was like, if I just got in the plane, like, okay,
Yeah, she said she could talk you through it. I was there.
because
We were drunk at your house for a pool party.
The first time I ever went skydiving, I told my buddy Logic Man, because he's a professional skydiver, he took me tandem, right? And I said, don't give me any instruction whatsoever. And he's like, all right. And I'm like, don't
I
tell
was
me
also
nothing.
here for this, Sam. This is a true story.
And then I'm like, because you don't need any actual instruction. Like, when you go tandem, they put you through like an hour class, and you learn. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta
Like,
watch a lot of
it's all
videos.
BS. you know?
of skydiving.
And he's like, nah, you don't need it. So I was like, don't tell me anything. Nothing. I need to know. And he's like, all right. And we went up there. He's like, he strapped me in or whatever. And then he's like, walk to the edge and jump out. And so I walked with him to the edge and we jumped out. I didn't even know what to do with my arms or whatever.
Yeah,
it didn't matter.
Whacking him in the eyes.
It did not matter. And so is it easier than we think, though, to land a plane?
Once you get up there. Yeah. And I bet landing it. I heard taking off is easier because it's just, you put the flaps up and you just give it gas. I put the flaps up.
But landing, there's a certain sequence to go through. But I thought
Didn't the landing look really good to you? I watched the video of the guy landing, and I say it was a ginger landing where that front wheel just kind of, it was just perfect.
It was perfect.
And I'm like, wait a minute. I've landed a lot of MS flight planes, and they never come down quite that easy.
Like, you would think his first time ever landing a plane, like, I've talked to Al when she was learning and going through, and she went through, 100 hours of flight time and with an instructor or whatever before she did it solo, and landing is the hardest part, and there was times where she was gumming in to land.
And you got to pass it.
And then she had to take off, even, like, bump landing where she was going to, like, you're too fast.
Touch and go.
Like, this guy perfectly landed it without...
One time.
Come
on.
And now he won't give any interviews?
Now, is it possible?
Can't win with you two.
Now, wait a minute. What if it's a hybrid of what we're saying? What if the man that was incapacitated was only like slightly incapacitated? He's in the back just like, I'm like in and out. And then as the guy's flying.
He's like, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, he's like, hold on, just move for a second. I can work at like 12-second bursts. And he's like, all right, I got it. All right, you take it. I'm getting sick. Okay, I got it. And then like when he's going for the landing, he's like, all right, bring it up 2 degrees. Okay, break it down. All right, pull the throttle back, give it a little more gas. Like, I feel like there's more to this story. Because when you watch the guy land the plane, he lands it perfectly.
Sam, when you look up the pilot, like, what have they said about the pilot? Is he in the hospital right now? Is he?
Yeah, well, they took him to the hospital, and they just said they haven't released, like, what was wrong with him.
He had a fart attack. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, it's a little odd.
Yeah.
Nothing? You want a little gas? Where'd you go?
Like, if you
Buffalo Wild Wings and getting
maybe they don't. Maybe he doesn't want to release to the public.
Well, the public demands he releases it because we're skeptical.
Well, yeah. They don't have to release his name, but what happened to him?
Fart attack or he crapped his pants.
Well, we also need to know for the safety of passengers who fly in airplanes, like what happened to this guy? Because if this happened to another guy and me and Daniel were passengers, we die because I can't follow instructions and Daniel will be paralyzed with anxiety.
I think I would be able to land it. If you could keep me calm, I could land it. And there's only one way for you to keep me calm. You're not going to like it.
No, I'll be like, we're too high for this.
I'll be like, you're going to have to do it.
First, I'd scream, we're too high for this. So second, I'd be like, you're better off just crash landing into the water because the water, in my mind, is softer.
But before we crashed, I would loop it around a little bit and see some stuff. Right? You got to loop it around. Would you wait till you run out of gas, or would you try to land it?
It just seems like because we joke around about this all the time. Like who knows how to fly? I've said this before.
Is there a pilot on this plane?
Daniel, I've said before, like you've done so much of the MS flight.
Yeah.
I was like, do you think you could even stand a chance landing like an airplane?
Only if you kept me calm. If you could keep me calm, I think I could land the plane.
Because then, if this story is true, I will say this: if it is true, I'm taking pilots down 2 notches.
You're putting them down near dentists? No! Because we got a meeting soon.
If just some guy can land a plane with no training and just from instructions from the air traffic controller, not that hard.
He did sound really calm. Really calm.
If this guy did it, not that hard. I'm taking you down 2 notches, pilots.
And they even said this was a difficult plane to land because of its size and speed and everything. Its telemetry or whatever they were saying in the article. They're like, this particular plane would be very difficult to land if you have no aeronautical experience. It's like, well, wait a minute. You guys are blowing this thing up to make it like the biggest thing that anybody's ever done in the world.
Obviously not that difficult. This guy did it.
Yeah.
Unless he is exaggerating.
And he's an interior designer with a pregnant wife.
How little experience he has.
The pilot's condition is stabilized, but the medical emergency is still unclear what it was.
Was he awake?
What if he was just wasted? Drug overdose?
Don't say that.
No.
Oh, my God.
No, I don't think. I mean,
that'll take you out.
It will, but I mean, most pilots, I think, are responsible enough to...
They're super logical and boring.
I don't know. I watched that movie with Denzel. He wasn't responsible.
Well, it was the beer that made him able to do the...
That was his superpower. No beer, and he's crashing it.
The alcohol didn't cause the plane to have... Like, it wasn't the alcohol's fault. The alcohol made him calm enough to fly it upside down.
That was a movie. I'm talking about real life.
I forgot about that.
That was real life. That happened. The guy
Not all of that.
I know, but basically he flew upside down and he was drunk. So that part was true, right? He flew upside down drunk.
And he wasn't tell about it.
He wasn't drunk, but he had a couple beers.
And he lived.
Yeah.
Which also adds to your argument that it's not that hard if you can fly it upside down drunk with a bunch of people on it. It's like, whatever. No big deal.
So it's either not that hard or this is fake. One or the other. Can't have both. You can't. Well, how can you have both?
What if this guy just did a really good job?
No one does a good job.
Well, again, you had every old man air traffic controller that they interviewed was saying, I've never seen anything like this before. Do you want to know why they've never seen it before, Sam? It's because it's not real.
Yeah.
That's why.
This would happen more often if this was somehow real.
How many planes are in the sky right now?
Yeah.
How many?
Thousands.
And you mean to tell me there's not
thousands.
one person incapacitated right now?
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah. Well, because when that happens, you rocket to the Earth. And then the story is the pilot died and they rocketed to the Earth. Dead. Anyway.
All right, let's do one more.
I know. I just...
what's wrong?
No. I'm not
What
backpedaling.
are you doing? I hear some regret.
This was just my initial thought. We'll see what happens. It could come out that this is 100% true.
Well, here's what I will say.
It stinks.
My decision on what I think this is undecided until I hear what the medical emergency was. And I'm not trying to pry into your business or anything, and it is your business, and we may never know. But if we never know, I'm always going to be a little doubtful.
And if the guy never does any interview with anybody or even tells his story,
you might as well be D.B. Cooper.
Then I'm skeptical too.
Yeah,
because
take
it's like,
it to your grave.
What do you hide? Like, I understand people are private, but it's like this story.
Maybe he doesn't want to relive that traumatic experience where him and his pregnant wife almost died.
Too calm.
He wasn't even freaking out.
Yeah.
Like, if my pregnant wife
and you're in like...
like, we're all gonna die.
I mean, like, my pregnant wife is up here. I will never get to see my baby. Help.
Also, if it was real, my pregnant wife would be like, I'm gonna fly this. You're an idiot. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Do you hear her in the background?
Yeah,
you don't. She's awfully quiet.
I don't know. We haven't listened to the whole goddamn call.
She's
We're
awfully
just
quiet.
doing a snippet and Tom's saying everything's fake.
She'd be screaming like,
I need
we're gonna die, my baby.
Yeah, I need my baby. Anyway. I need at least 3 or 4 of those in there.
I'm just putting it out there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Another hot topic is oddities. We've been talking about a lot of oddities.
Hey friends, it's Zach from Ohio. You were talking about Ripley's Believe It or Not and oddities and their popularity. Well, Andrea and I just went to an oddities expo in Columbus. And Andrea bought a gopher skull. She bought a snake skeleton. And she bought a coyote skull. And I think she spent about $200 on all 3 of these things. Actually, no, I think it was $300 on all 3 of these things. But she, before this, had a bat skeleton that's like hangs upside down.
Where are we at on skeleton people? People that have skeletons in their homes, right? It's a little trashy, right? It's a little trashy.
Yeah. I was about to scream, you're a grown adult. Why do you have skeletons?
It's a little little kids can have it on a shelf, because they're curious about the way things work and they don't know about sex. And,
If you're a grown adult, you're buying a gopher skeleton. Come on. What are you
doing? What are you going to put that in your room next to your Funko Pops? It's another thing. If you collect Funko Pops, you're a baby.
I got like 5.
I know, but you're a baby. You're not a collector, though. You use them to offset the amount of sadness we have here at work.
And you're an entertainer. Do you have them in your studio as decorations?
They're like in our office.
Yeah. A lot of people use a piece of double-sided tape. You're a content creator.
Yeah. I mean, you're a host. You're an artist.
You a hoe. I was like, hey, no.
Don't hit the double down button.
I ordered it today.
Yes.
I can't wait for it.
It's ludicrous.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned Hot Topic right before you played that voicemail. Have you guys heard of the new bar in Texas called Shot Topic?
No.
So they've decorated it to look like an old school Hot Topic store.
Pretty cool.
It's very kitschy.
I love
and apparently
kitschy
it's
bars.
slammed all the time.
Can they do a chain and put them all over the place?
They probably will.
Well, we go to Shot Topic.
Can you, as Hot Topic, like
sue them?
Cease and desist? Like, hey, you are
100%.
You would think they would.
You're profiting
They may
off
not want
of
to,
our
though.
brand.
They may not want to.
Yeah.
It's in Dallas.
It'd be better to lean into it and be like, "Hey, we'll help you out." You know, like,
and all the drinks have like, emo lyrics. I don't know. It's very.
Do you know?
But then I've seen people their TikToks where they've gone there and they're like, yeah, it's like dressed up like an old school Hot Topic, but it's all just like pop songs that they play. It's all like the main, like, What's My Age Again, Blink-182.
No, you got to do like deep cuts fueled by ramen.
It's all
you gotta
stuff
do,
that's like top 40.
You got to weave some metal in there. You know, you got to have like at least one Led Zeppelin song for the one Led Zeppelin shirt they had. You know what I mean? Like you got to have
like
all
Black
that
Parade
stuff.
and
Interesting.
Which listener his wife worked for a Hot Topic for like 50 years?
No, for Spencer's.
So Spencer.
It's Sam C.
Sam.
We love Sam. Sam's the man, and he's been
Also,
listening to us for like 20
Pariah
years.
Mike's wife works for Spencer's, and she has for a long time. She's trying to raise money to get her boobies chopped off.
Whoa, don't say it like that.
It's true. Her back's all messed up,
like,
and
just
she's
to get
going to have to use a cane if she doesn't get this breast reduction
Cane?
surgery.
Yeah, you have to put it underneath them. Hold them up.
So check out that GoFundMe. Either me or Pariah Mike's.
They do that in Mexico or something, right? You can go cheaper route and go out of country.
You can do anything out of country.
Yeah.
Like there's people now that I wanted to talk about this Friday too. But we probably won't. Like little guys. There's a big article in it. I think it was Rolling Stone about short men that are going and having elective bone lengthening surgery.
Yeah. They put the rod in your legs.
Yeah,
right?
they put a rod in your legs and then they twist it, and then over like a series of 8 months to a year, you'll gain upwards of 3 inches. And I'm like, that's just not enough.
No,
it's not.
Yeah.
So if I even did this, I come out of this 5'5", and I'm like, well, what is that?
$75,000.
Yeah,
for
and
that surgery.
you have to learn how to walk again.
What?
It's insanity, man. That people think that this is a game changer for. Look, I get it. Do whatever you want to do. If you want a boob job, nose job, if you want a face tattoo, if you want to chop your boobs off, if you want to lengthen your legs, dude, do you. But I can't see where this is a game changer. I can't see where if you walked into a room at 5'2", my height, and then you walked into a room at 5'5", given your 3 inches, learning how to walk again, 8 months of re-healing and intense pain and probably psychological damage and trauma, and you think that the world is going to suddenly open up to you because you're 3 inches taller? You're stupid.
It would turn into, instead of
stupid.
Wow, you are that short, to wow,
you spent money on that.
You're you were shorter than I thought.
Right.
just a little.
You're drawing attention to it.
Yeah, just a little shorter than I thought. Instead of screaming short. They're still saying it to you, but it's just a
insane.
little less surprised.
It is literally insane that people would do this. To me, it is. Again, am I passing judgment? 100% I am. But I read the article, and the guy just sounds so sad, the little guy that they interviewed. I mean, like, no confidence. You know, and I don't believe that.
And that's the problem, right?
The height, you're not chasing the height, you're chasing the confidence. And I don't care how tall you are. I don't think you're going to have it. Right. Yeah. It is. It's mental. I don't think you're ever going to have it.
It's like the guy, what's that guy that like climbs mountains or whatever, and he's got no legs and almost no arms.
I know the guy you're talking about. Yeah.
You know, the guy's the most positive guy in the world or whatever. It's like, that's mental. Mm-hmm. You know, it has nothing to do.
Yeah, his strength is his brain. Yeah, your strength, you know, how confident you are, how you carry yourself, how you make friends, that's your brain. That's not 3 inches of bone rods. Good Lord.
So back to the pilot. Let's figure out a scam where I've always wanted to be a hero, but I'm too chicken to do it.
When are you chick? I don't think you're chicken. How are you chicken?
Well, I'd have to put myself in situations constantly that I could actually become a hero. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm never in, you know.
From zero to hero.
Great song.
It's rare that you even have the chance to become a hero. I mean,
so you want to manufacture
like
these hero
guys
scenario.
Yes. So inspired by these guys who were fake heroes, we're going to be fake heroes.
Well, you know what I've always wanted to do is like a car goes into a lake and then I jump off into the water and then do the move where I swim down and then I open the door and pull the person out and pop up with the person.
Like, I got one. I think there's 2 more down there.
They're dead for sure.
No, you go down there and you're pulling them up. You get them all up.
I can only get one anyway.
And then you hear after that last kid, you get is everybody breathing? They're like, yes. You're like, and then the kid goes, my dog, and you're like, I can't leave anybody. Go back down and you're looking for the dog.
Yeah. So we have to manufacture that so I can become a hero. And so we have to figure out.
I have to run a family off the road.
No. It's you. It's going to have to be one of you.
Well, it's not going to be me. Because I have no confidence in you.
Well, you can get out fast. You'll be the driver. And you just flip it into the...
I'll videotape it on my phone.
That's fine.
We need a pedestrian.
We need a world star. You can stand there and film it and yell world star.
Oh, my God.
So you, Daniel, have to go
Am I wearing the lady outfit again? No. I wouldn't be a pregnant woman. I specialize in
You're
pregnant
going to shave.
Well,
I'll shave.
You have to rocket your car into some sort of body of water.
Yeah.
And then I'm there.
Do you want me to do the
I'm there fishing or
full speed?
Dude, dive off your boat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I got
the
it.
accident.
Okay. Well, no, hold on.
I could do the Sean Kingston, but I won't do blackface because I just feel like people wouldn't. Yeah, it's not the right.
Well, okay, I got it. I'm under the I-4 bridge where.
Wait a minute. That's my house.
No. Where the St. Johns River and I-4 or Lake Monroe.
Okay.
So I'm there and I'm there fishing. Right. I'm just out fishing. And then Sam is
sunbathing.
Okay, yeah. You're
under I-4.
No, there's a dock around there.
Okay.
Yeah, you just walk down to the dock and catch some rays, you know.
So you just got to be ready to film it because we need to.
You're laying there, you know, you got the top undone. You don't want to.
I'm arguing with some old man that's telling me I'm dressed too scantily clad out in public, and I'm telling him mind his own business, old man.
Exactly.
Well, the guys there fishing will not argue with you if you're in there in a bikini. They will be happy.
Yeah, they will be like over the moon.
You haven't seen those videos?
Oh, yeah. So anyway.
It's usually teens, though.
So this is perfect because Andrea's car is a hunk of junk. You're waiting to blow it up anyway, right? So you take Andrea's car, right? And then you run it off. Now this is where you have to put your seatbelt on because this is going to be.
I never remember seatbelt.
So you run it off the bridge of I-4, right? And you say you have some sort of medical.
I do.
Medical emergency.
You have a medical emergency.
These new pills they got me on have lowered my blood pressure to the point where every time I stand up, I see stars.
I'll be waiting on my boat when you come off into the water, right?
Yes.
And the car will float for a minute, right? And then Sam will be like, "Oh my God!" and start filming.
She stands up, but then her top falls off, and I wake up. I'm like, "Wow!"
Then I'm like,
cured.
Then I take my shirt off and then get on the bow of my boat and dive.
You do the dive.
Yeah. The dive, and I put my arms out. Arm, and then I dive down. Now we'll have some.
I'm already down there with a scuba tank.
Yeah. We'll have some emergency air in the back. Yeah. So you'll be breathing.
I'm already on it. I'm sitting down there. I'm breathing the air.
You're on it when you go off.
And then I'm like, you're late.
Yeah. And so I dive down there, and then we take the scuba tank off, and then we'll hide that somewhere so the police don't find it. Anyway, and then I pull you up.
They won't do a full investigation. That's Volusia County. What are you talking about?
Right. Yeah.
They're going to look at that. They'll just let it sink to the bottom.
And then I'll be a hero. There we go.
All right. We figured it out.
Write that down. All right. Bye-bye.